So when I run into rejection, I know it's only redirection. I see the blessings right beside me. The chances of quitting are likely. I do it like I'm in my Nikes. Don't make excuses, they never excite me. Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted, this passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it. No, you cannot stop it.
Good morning, Knicks universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Knicks Morning Brew on this Monday, May 20th. Like always, I'm your guy, Hector, joined by my compadres. I got my guy, Eddie Presti. I got my guy, Phil the Prophet. And I got my brother from another mother, my guy, Mr. Jiggaman Porto.
What up,
Folks,
what up?
How are we doing this morning, boys?
I'll let you start, Eddie. Go ahead, bro.
Boys, go ahead, Eddie. Go ahead and then throw it over to Phil.
How am I doing?
How you doing?
I'm a little depressed, to be honest. I'm a little depressed. I mean, we got our doors blown off of us yesterday.
Let's watch our language for the first 5 minutes of the show. We're trying to be monetized. Let's watch.
Like curse yet?
No, I'm just saying.
2 minutes.
I felt it coming, so I'm like, Eddie.
He felt the Eddie trigger.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Well, I will keep this PG-13. Basically, yesterday we got our doors blown off. Indiana, the first quarter, we knew it was over. Okay, they were 16-21 the first quarter, 76%. They were shot 76% in the first half, and on 3-pointers. They were 7 of 9 in the first quarter alone. That's 78%. They out-rebounded us. They got more points in the paint. And then in the third quarter, when we made that run, when we got it to within 6 points, and we had this little Knicks tease going on, and we think, hey, we got a chance. Maybe we get back in it. We get it to 6. Indiana goes on an 8-0 run. The lead's back to 15. 5 minutes later, Jalen Brunson breaks his hand. And Phil goes, well, that's that.
That's that.
And that was pretty much the end of our season. So that's it. That's
Wait, can we take a quick second? Eddie just gave us a 3-minute rant without a curse. Oh,
hey, shout out to our guy Eddie Presti, who wants to help us stay monetized.
I'm trying to help. All right?
What up, Philly?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I have a wrestle of emotions, like many things fighting with each other. Super frustrating how we lost, like for me, after that first quarter, I had deja vu of the 2 games in Indiana that I paid for. And Jigga joked around and was like, maybe you're the problem. Just don't go to games. Like, they get blown out when you go. And I was like, all right. So I didn't go. Still happened. And so it was very, very hard to watch, those minutes. Was a little bit frustrated with, how we, ended the game. So that was hard to watch. As a Knicks fan, you don't want to go out an amazing season, kind of being blown out. And feeling the way we felt. But at the end of the day, those emotions were battled with the fact that, like, I'm very thankful for the team that we have, watching the post-game interviews, seeing the fighters that we have there, seeing how much those guys love being in Knicks uniforms, that kind of balances it out for me. I had to get off Twitter, had to get off the spaces. So many people jumping out the window, blaming our players, blaming Tibbs and all this crazy stuff. And I'm just like, yo, slow down. Like, let's not ignore the amazing season we've had with all the complications that we've had, So for me, the feelings of frustration of how we lost were balanced out by the thankfulness of what we were able to achieve, with 4 guys down for a huge part of our season, with all the changes that we had. So at the end of the day, we are a better team ending, even with the injuries, than we were when the season started, so that is something I have to be grateful for. But yeah, that was hilarious. We were all talking in that group chat as soon as I got the news. Brunson, I was like, okay, it's over,
Is that
like, what I hate about our group chats, guys, is I can't ignore it.
No, but for me, when it came to when it came. Go ahead, Phil.
He's on lag.
Go ahead, Phil.
No, I was saying, like, because even if we would have had a miracle where we pulled off that game in some way, shape, or form, and Big Money Burks kept showing up, like, we're going against Boston, without Jalen Brunson, So at the end of the day, my statement wasn't premature. It was just honest. Brunson's gone. It's over. Like, that's our season, whether we advanced or not.
I just, when you look at this season, right, and first and foremost, shout out to everybody that's in the chat, right, and I want to shout out my cousin Cello, who's in the chat right now. Cello says, I'm at a doctor's appointment with my newborn, but damn well I had to jump on the chat and show some love. Knicks made New York proud, and I want to pause that right quick. I'm gonna bring that back up. So I'm having like difficulties bringing up certain chats. If you can bring up Cello's chat for me, But when it comes down to it, yeah, we're content creators. We make content. We come on the internet to have a conversation with you guys. But when it all comes down to it, we're fans of this team. We're fans of the New York Knicks. And this season that we've been able to watch from the New York Knicks as a fan, it's been amazing. What more can you have asked from the 2023 to 2024 New York Knicks? Yeah, did the end of our story wind up the way we wanted it to end? No, it didn't end the way we wanted it to end. Injuries were a big reason why we aren't talking about facing the Boston Celtics in the next. But I will be a fool, right? I would be an idiot if I was to come on this screen, if I was to grab this microphone and tell you guys the reason we're not facing the Boston Celtics is because of Jalen Brunson, is because of Josh Hart, is because of Dante DiVincenzo. Hell, is because of Tom Thibodeau. It's not none of those reasons. The reasons why is because the injury bud bit us really, really bad, right? It bit us real bad. First, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, right? Bojan after we traded for him. OG Anunoby. After OG Anunoby went down, that was the first time that I'm like, I'm not sure if we'd be able to punch back. We've been punched down before. We've been punched in the mouth, and we've been able to respond. But Knicks fans out there, just know we have a bright future. We definitely have a bright future. Eddie was talking about it in our group chat. After 1995, right, when Patrick Ewing was a 10-year vet, after he missed that finger roll layup, our future wasn't as bright as it is right now. Granted, right, I'm not saying JB and Patrick Ewing are the same type of player, but Jalen Brunson is young. Patrick Ewing was old. He needed other players to help him out when he got up there in age. Look at Jalen Brunson. Look at the other guys that we have signed to contracts long-term. They're all team-friendly deals. Yeah, we got to deal with OG Anunoby, but we deal with OG Anunoby when we deal with OG Anunoby. I just want to take this second, this moment, this time that I have to talk, and I'm sorry if I'm long-winded. Thank you, Dante. Thank you, Josh Hart. Thank you, Jalen Brunson. Thank you, Tom Thibodeau. Thank you to the 2023 and to the 2024 New York Knicks. And for those that started the season with us but were traded during the middle of the season, thank you as well, because you are a reason why we was able to get OG. You were a reason why we was able to get Bojan and Alec Burks. And talking about Alec Burks, put some respect on that man's name. He showed up over these past few games when he was in NBA purgatory, sitting on the bench. Constant professional. Sorry, I was a bit long-winded.
Playoff
Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Before you do the roll call, I'm right there with you guys, man. I joked about it on the positivity this morning where I woke up. I didn't want to do the show. I was like, man, is it really over? Like that feeling was still there when I woke up. But man, you said it best, Heck. Like this team, this season, through all the headaches and ups and downs that we went through. I mean, who would have thunk it to sit here and say, beginning of the season, hey guys, you're going to lose. You're not going to have RJ, not going to have IQ anymore. You're going to lose Mitch. You're going to lose Julius Randle. And oh, by the way, you're going to make it to the second round losing game 7. I would have been like, get the hell out of here with no guys on our team. I mean, we literally, someone in the chat said it. I think it's the best way to sum it up. Where was it? The 2024 probably most likable Knicks in 2 decades. We didn't just fall in love with a team. We fell in love with that continuity that we were pitched. We fell in love with a squad that fought for each other, tooth and nail. And we have guys, Knicks, I think it was you, Heck, or Eddie. You guys said the other day on the show, these guys represent New Yorkers. These guys represent that 9 to 5 jumping on the train. These guys, when I saw OG out there for 4 minutes, it meant everything to me. The fact that man was willing to put it, the fact that Josh Hart was willing to put it on Game 7 on the line, the fact that I watched the timeline sit there and be like, oh, would you even play them? Them boys weren't even questioning if they were playing. They were begging to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know that we've got this squad. Imagine this squad healthy next season.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to think of. We lost not because we didn't play well. We lost because we couldn't play with our guys. We had nobody. And I know we're going to also shout out the amazing season that we've had here on this channel, because you guys in this chat, the way you've rode with us all season long, not only did the Knicks make this season exciting, you guys made Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings so exciting for us. But guys, the one thing I'll end on, Heck, the future is bright. There's no way you can end this season. Like last season, let's be real. Eddie, right off the gate, it was like, who are we trading for? What do we need? Right. 3 different pieces, right? This is a season where we're ending. We're saying, oh, shit, if we're healthy, maybe you go get one little backup. Point. Maybe. You're not going into this like, oh, man, we need another center. Nah, I don't know about y'all, but we got so many answers this season. Right. Hey, do we have 2 big men? Do we have 2 good big men? You know what I'm saying? So, like, all those questions we ended last year, we got those answers, man. There's no way to stay down.
And it's a good problem to have. And I'm gonna just read off the chat real quick, and I just want to call and I'll throw it over to Phil and Eddie. But shout out to my guy SK, the Smoking Neck. We did our best. SK, the captain of the Julius Randle fan club, is in the building. Shout out to my guy SK. Of course, the young king is in the building. My guy, Jacob Petruzzi. Appreciate you. Jacob said, love y'all to death for dedication for this channel. It's been outstanding. Appreciate you, Jacob. Shout out to my guy, Brian Gustin. Absolutely love the show and the channel. So glad I found it. What a great season these Knicks had. One can only imagine how good we could have been if we were healthy. Absolutely. Shout out to you. And then Double A says, to the morning crew, thank you for a great season, fam. I got 4 new brothers, 3 Puerto Ricans, and shout out to my white boy, Eddie Presti. Absolutely. Shout out to Danny Landis in the building. Good morning and happy Monday, Knicks Morning Brew. Very depressing today. We should have closed this deal yesterday. Shout out to you, Danny. Of course, my friend Sierra. Shout out to Sierra. Shout out to the Knicks for putting on a good run. Eric Gonzalez. I want to shout out Stephen Fox, right? A lot of people don't know. Foxy helps us out tremendously behind the scenes. Foxy brought me a couple of mics that I'm using for my interviews now. Foxy, appreciate you supporting us from day one. When we had our first episode of Knicks Morning Brew, me, Phil, Celso, Foxy was the first person in the chat giving us love. So shout out to Foxy. Of course,
also, hey, by the way,
building.
Foxy was on the other day with George into the Knicks verse.
Yes,
killed it. That episode killed it.
Shout out to Foxy and George.
Full transparency, it took me 25 minutes to realize it was pre-recorded. I'm like, why aren't you answering me, Foxy?
Shout out to my guy CP the artist, who's the captain of the Poke the Bear fan club. But he said, shout out, good morning, beautiful and ugly people. I do not discriminate. Shout out to my guy CP the artist. Craft Punk is in the building with the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you for helping us keep the lights on. Disappointing end to one of the most fun seasons in a while. Appreciate you guys keeping it a buck the entire season. And of course, our friend Kung Fu D, you had a good run, boys. Now on to the Yanks and on to the Jets. Phil, I throw it over to you, my brother.
Actually, Phil, before you talk, can I bring up a topic? Because I want your opinion and Eddie's off of it right away. But I already saw people talking about Tibbs, man. Am I crazy? Like, how are we not all here saying Tibbs deserves a freaking extension? Like, any questions you had about this, man, I feel he answered them all season long. Talk to me, Phil.
Hit the emojis.
Yeah, emojis.
Hit the emojis. But before I talk about Tibbs, I do want to shout out everybody in the chat, everyone that will watch this later. Replay gang has been strong as well all season. Thank you to every single person that we connected with at our our gatherings. Thank you for being part of those and hanging out with us. I thank you for the community that we've built, the friendships that we've built throughout this whole season. It means the world to us. We're going to keep going. There's other shows that will continue throughout the season. Yankees Morning Brew, obviously. We got the Mets. We will have Jets coming back eventually. Liberty Latte is starting. You can't not be excited for that squad. And if you've watched the Liberty already this season, destroying the Caitlin Clark fan club already, massive destroying them in Indiana, which I watched, and then getting her plummeted on the ground in that pick by, by Brianna that pretty much flattened her. If you haven't seen that, that was crazy. But shout out to the Liberty and the crew for that. But when it comes to certain things I'm seeing, we were shouting out all of our players. So many people are like, how dare you guys play OG? What a waste. Stop spinning the block. If OG didn't at least try, you go into the postseason, go into the offseason talking about how he's soft, how other guys would have battled through it. This guy tried to battle through something that is hard to battle through. A hamstring injury is nothing to play with, and he was willing to at least come out and try. So shout out to those guys for actually putting in the effort. Josh Hart with an abdominal strain, still playing 38 minutes, drawing contact, getting to the foul line, grabbing 8 rebounds. Like a guy who could barely stand up in that last game after he got hurt. You saw the pain in his eyes, and yet he still was willing to come and fight for this organization. So anyone that's got something bad about, those guys to say, just keep it on lock. No one wants to hear it. And when it comes to Tibbs, here's the thing. I don't understand how we're still preaching the same narrative of last year where it was justified, but using it this year when we were able to achieve in something that even with the changes we made, people thought that we were going to be an early exit, maybe not even a play-in team. And yet we were the second seed with 4 freaking injuries, 3 of them that were our starters in the beginning of the season. So yes, I understand this, but this narrative of this is a Tibbs injury, like, no, it's not Tibbs injuries. Tibbs doesn't grab onto a player's leg and cause him to get injured. Tibbs doesn't, hit Jalen Brunson's hand on Halliburton at the end of the season. Tibbs doesn't do those things. Those are not Tibbs injuries. I don't understand how we're using that narrative. If there's something you don't like about Tibbs, fine, but let it be something that you can actually justify, something you can actually say he did wrong, because that's not the case. OG, history of injury when we brought him here. So that's not something that Tibbs created. So at the end of the day, I have to salute Tibbs because I wanted him out last year. There were certain things that I was like, if he changes this, then it's a different story. Well, guess what? It's a different story because he changed those things. He was not out-coached. That's not why we lost this series. Wasn't because of him. It was because we had no man up to bring. We kept saying next man up all season. Well, eventually there's no man up to come. And as much as I want to see these young guys get a chance, if anyone really thinks that if he would have extended it and had Jacob Toppin and Sims in the playoffs in that last series that we would have won, you're smoking some good stuff, because at the end of the day, as much as I want to see those guys get a chance, that wasn't the time for them to get that chance, and they weren't going to beat the Pacers if we brought in Jacob Toppin. We saw the best of Burks all season, and we still lost because we just did not have any more ammunition. So I'm going to say shout out to Tibbs. I think Tibbs should get that extension. I do not believe this Tibbs is the Tibbs that everyone's comparing him to of teams in the past. I just can't, justify that in any way, shape, or form. I think we called him to action. We called him to bring something new, and he did. So I'm going to shout out Tibbs in this episode.
Yeah, Eddie, I'm going to toss it to you because my thing is, we talked about it before, when the players themselves come out and they're publicly saying they'll go to war for this man, right? They expect to play the minutes. Their conditioning is great. I understand the side of the people like, oh, they played too many minutes, but I can't respect that take, especially when we proved that without our guys, with the squad that we had, they had to play all those quarters. They still won games. They still fought tooth and nail every time, right? Go ahead, Ed.
Well, just look down to the end of the season, right? We had that tough schedule. There was a bunch of people out. OG was out. Mitch was out. Randall was out. And we had a really tough schedule. but the Knicks still managed to win a bunch of games, which I didn't think they were going to win. I thought they were going to fall to 6, but they went all the way up to 2. They caught Milwaukee, which none of us saw coming. Then we go out, we face the 76ers, which was the team I didn't even want to face. I was like, I want no part of them. And we go out and we beat the 76ers in 6 games. And then we get to the Pacers series. We have OG. Mitch goes down, right? And we were pretty much in control of this series up until OG Anunoby went down. Once OG Anunoby went down and Josh Hart hurt his stomach, that was the end. That was the beginning of the end because you couldn't replace those rebounds. Josh Hart, when he was healthy, he was getting 12, 13, 18 rebounds a game. Yep. But when he hurt his stomach, his abs, that was it. Like Phil said, there was no more next man up mentality.
Eddie, the first 2 games where I didn't smash the over Josh Hart for 11 rebounds. Right? Every other time on a parlay, Hector, we feel confident hitting over. Not these last 2. You knew it was like, man, that's a big piece to lose.
It was it. Did us in. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just want to piggyback off of that point because when you look at it, the games that Indiana won, they got more rebounds than us. The games that we won, we got more rebounds than Indiana. This series came down to who was going to control the offensive and defensive boards. And Indiana, like Eddie said, once Josh Hart injured his abdominal, that's it. He was down. OG Anunoby as well. And like Phil said, when you look at the injuries, right? Jalen Brunson, broken hand. That's not from being tired or for being played too many minutes, right? Julius Randle's shoulder, somebody low bridging him and him falling on his shoulder is not him playing more for over 40 minutes a game. That has nothing to do with that. Mitchell Robinson having Joel Embiid grab his ankle or fall on his ankle, that has nothing to do with Tom Thibodeau. Josh Hart, abdominal strain, nothing to do with Tom Thibodeau. The only one that you could point at maybe is OG Anunoby. And even then, I don't think that was because he was being overused, because he was out and rested for so many games before coming back to the postseason. That sequence, it was literally both teams running up and down the court 5 times in a row. And then on the 6th time is when OG Anunoby pulled his hamstring. So that little that conversation that folks want to have right now, I'm not going to entertain it. I think it's wasted energy. I definitely do not think Tom Thibodeau deserves the blame. And I think he should get a contract extension after this season of what we saw.
Do you guys think, and again, separating our fandom is sometimes a little hard, but you sit here and you look Denver getting knocked out. You look at this stuff and it's like, it's hard not to sit here and really think if we had our healthy squad. And even before we went to the playoffs, we said, if we have OG and a Mitch, OG and a somebody, losing OG and not having the other one too made it that much harder. Yeah. Is it crazy to sit here and think with the teams that are left, we really could have made a run to win this championship?
But also too, like CP said, game 3 had to do with Thibodeau. If Mitchell Robinson is playing game 3, that close game, do we lose that game? I don't think so. No. I don't think if Mitchell Robinson is playing in game 3, we lose that. We lost Mitchell Robinson after game 2. That was it. He was done.
That was the Turner game, right? When Turner lit us up.
Not just that, the
big
Nimhart,
Nimhart.
Yeah, not Nimhart, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
No, here's Smith. Go ahead, Phil.
Here's one thing I want to say. So many people, want to crucify Tibbs and say, if we had a different coach, this, that, and whatever. Like, no, these players do not become who they are under a different coach. Like, let's be freaking real. Like, at the end of the day, I want to not even just quote myself, because quoting myself is just an opinion, but if you look at the post-game interviews from yesterday, they're getting all the thoughts from the players on the season, on the coach, on their teammates, everything like that. Direct quote from Deuce McBride is, he's believed in me from the start. He's built a great foundation for us. So who's had McBride's back from the get-go? Apparently, it was Tibbs, according to McBride, that he's always felt like Tibbs has believed in him and has had his back to get to this point. Jalen Brunson, our guy, the guy that runs this organization player-wise, like the one we build around, his exact quote, Tibbs is the reason why we have this mindset. So all of us want to talk about oh, it's because we have grinding guys. But if you put that under a coach that, has this, that, or whatever, then whatever. Like, no, Jalen's saying the reason that we have this mindset is because of him. It's the reason why night in and night out, we fight to the best of our abilities. Don't really care what people on the outside think. We go forward with what we believe is the best. Players in the locker room have his back no matter what. So Jalen Brunson saying the things you love about us as a team, and then you want to crucify Thibodeau, you can't do both. You can't love what you see from us as an organization. The city has fallen in love with Jalen Brunson. They've fallen in love with the hustle of Josh Hart and Hartenstein, the development of DiVincenzo. And he's saying you can't love those things and hate Tibbs, because all the things you love are only because Tibbs pushed us and we adapted to his mindset and how he has coached us. So you can't do both. You can't hate on the Tibbs of this season and enjoy and love what you saw from the team, because according to our main guy, that's only because of Tibbs.
Eddie, I'm going to toss you, but let me pull up Brian Gustin with the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you helping us keep the lights on, bro. Next watch party you guys have, I'm making the trip and bringing a New York Knicks cake. Jig and Phil know what I'm talking about. Morning Brew Sports. Happy birthday to our boy Brian. His wife hooked it up with a dope Knicks cake. Double A with the $1.99 super chat. Got to be psyched for next year. Tip stays. Eddie, I'm going to toss it to you because I know you wanted to pick up for what Phil was saying, but then, hey guys, good news, Eddie. It's the day after the Knicks get eliminated, and oh shit, here we go. Teams are monitoring the potential of Julius Randle this offseason.
It has started.
Here we go. It's not even 24 hours removed.
And I see we got our good friend, my infamous take, Al Centron, backstage about to join us. Eddie, keep cooking, and I'll bring up Al while you talk. Go ahead, bro.
Listen. Anybody that's saying that Tibbs doesn't need to come back, or if they're saying anything bad about Tibbs, you did not watch this season. You did not watch all 82. You did not watch the playoffs. If you're saying Tibbs is a problem, you're wrong. You're wrong. He overachieved more than any other coach, in my opinion. He should have been coach of the year. With what we had in that playoffs, just getting past the 76ers alone without Randall, that is incredible. Because that 76ers team is stacked. They have two superstars. Then we almost beat Indiana. And Indiana, say whatever you want about Indiana. Indiana's battle-tested. Indiana made it to the what was it? The in-season tournament, right? They took out Boston. Nobody talked.
It was the Lakers that won that, right?
The Lakers won, but they beat Boston, and I think they beat Milwaukee too. To get there. So they are sort of like have a little playoff experience, and we just had our injuries just killed us in the end. That's it. Tibbs deserves to be here, and he deserves to be here for a while. Same with Leon Rose. Those guys, without those guys, we're not sitting here talking about 50 wins and the 2 seed. It's that simple.
I just want to bring this up. Eric Gonzalez, my fault. I deleted your comment by accident, but Eric Gonzalez said, Tiz will be back. An extension is coming in the next few weeks. Ow! Let me get a thumbs up, Theo Al, because we need to hear from Theo Al. Hopefully his back is feeling better. I know his back was bothering him.
That man's laying up in bed.
Our guy, Theo Al Centron. Al, how you doing?
I'm hurting.
Hey,
I'm
Al, roll over. Show us a roll.
Wait, hold on. That was very low. That was low energy, Al. I need high energy. Wake your ass up, Al Central. Let's start this shit again.
Bedridden, our guy, Theo, Uncle Al.
Yes,
How you feeling, Al? You good, baby?
I'm hurt. I'm like the Knicks Game 7 squad, man. I'm hurting, man. I'm hurting. My back is fucked up. Let me say this. When did we become soft as New York Knicks fans? When did this happen? Complaining that Tibbs played the guys too much, complaining that about referees, complaining about the dumbest shit. Listen, my heart gave out when Brunson's hand broke. So that made this loss a little easier to take. The team all season long, the Milwaukee Bucks bitched out of the 2 seed. The Cleveland Cavaliers bitched out of the 2 seed. What did the Knicks do? We're playing down to the last game of the season. We want the 2 seed. So this team embodies everything what New York used to be. because it seems like a lot of these motherfuckers got soft, just like the city got soft and became all corporate everywhere. A lot of these people got soft. I love this Knicks team. I never ever wanted to take a back seat. Never. We don't load manage. Teams don't load manage against us when it comes to Madison Square Garden. We get their best shot 41 games of the season. I give OG Anunoby credit for trying to play. I said it on the air. This is his Jeremy Lin moment. Is he going to try to give it a go, or is he going to pull the 85% bullshit card? He tried to go. You could see defensively, he had nothing defensively. He couldn't move defensively. Okay. Josh Hart was hurt all game. He gave it a go. I love this Knicks team. And for the people with the choking shit, Reggie Miller, newsflash, go do your research. The Knicks won that fucking series, you fucking morons. The Knicks won that series. So when
Halliburton's wearing the shirt. Yeah.
When Reggie did that choke symbol, the Pacers were up 3-2. You know who choked that series? A fully healthy Pacers team choked that series. Right. So all of this nonsense.
Question, bro. I hate to cut you off, but it just came to me, and you know my ADHD, bro. I'll forget. What's the over-under, bro? Like, how many calls you start getting about conspiracy theories on the fact that the NBA wants an Ant and Hallie final to really push the two faces that they want for the NBA? Do you get that call right away tonight, or what do you think?
No. If that's the call they want, that'll be the lowest rated NBA finals in the fucking history of the NBA. So let's cut that crap. Nobody wants to see Halliburton with his 7 step back, which is a fucking travel. That looks like something. That looks like a shot. That looks like a motion a handicapped person does. No disrespect to anybody's handicap, but yeah, my man's hop, skipping, and jumping like Dorothy and the Wizard of Rhodes going down the fucking yellow brick road, bro. And they don't call it travel. That's a travel.
My man was.
There's a great video on Twitter that shows and counts the steps. Like, I do not understand. Like, he has a minimum of 4 steps that he takes when he picks up the ball.
It's 5.
He goes this way, back, that way, and then back. Like, it's insane.
Dude, he's playing hopscotch.
A minimum. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So, and I used to say Harden's was a travel. That makes Harden's look like a fucking the example of not a travel. Halliburton is hop stepping, bro. It's like he's at the free throw line and then he gets all the way to the 3-point line. That's not a real play, bro. That's a travel. That's a travel.
You know what's funny though? What I love the most, Heck, is we're talking about Hallie and the move and everything, but we're not talking about it because there's an excuse on why we lost the game. We're just calling out the shit that shot is ridiculous every time.
No. Every time. It is, and I just want to say this real quick, right? Because it's easy for like Pacer fans to come in here, the fucking 5 Pacer fans that are in the world, and like clip what we're saying and try to reuse it. Did the Pacers win the series? Yes. They won the series, right? When it's all said and done, they won the series. This is not a boo-hoo moment. This is more of a celebratory for our team that we had this season. So I don't want us to sound like we're all a bunch of spoiled brats because the Knicks lost to the Pacers. When it's all said and done, the Pacers beat us when we couldn't muster up and get past the injuries. After Game 5, when we were able to get that win and go up 3-2, that's the injury. That's the game that OG Anunoby injured himself. And Eddie, you and I, we were both on the same page, like, that may be the punch that I'm not sure. You know, when you get punched in the stomach, you lose a lot of oxygen. That's the punch in the stomach that I'm not sure this team can actually gather their breath and keep going if they're running a marathon. The postseason, the playoffs, it's a marathon. Knicks got punched in the stomach. They weren't able to catch their breath and continue on that marathon. And Indiana did. They took advantage of us. Point blank.
The Josh Hart injury was the final nail in our coffin, in my opinion.
Yeah, Halliburton was traveling from fucking 7th Avenue all the way to Indiana on that step back.
I love Kevin said, in this series, we can watch Halliburton travel as well as Tatum carrying the ball like it's a bowling ball.
Shout out to Kev. Shout out to Stephen Foxy. Soul Fingers in the building. We got over 200 people rocking out with us right now. If you guys can, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, interact with the emojis that's right there. It helps YouTube push this out and the algorithm. If you're on the Elon Musk machine, formerly known as Twitter, click the link in the bio, jump on over and join the convo.
Wait, one last thing is game 3 up 9 in the 4th quarter. That was our chance to really put a stranglehold on the series. It would have been 3-0. It would have been 3-0. And Indiana would have never came back from that. That's just my opinion. And the other thing I'm going to say is Tibbs deserves his extension. I've never been a Tibbs guy because I didn't like the way he did his rotations, especially the third quarter. There was no adjustments and when he first was the coach. But it reminds me of Tom Coughlin. When Coughlin took over the Giants, he was a hard ass, and they said he couldn't adjust. And then Coughlin adjusted, and they ended up winning a Super Bowl, right? So my opinion, this whole run by the Knicks and the love that the fans showed the Knicks is going to show other players, like, man, what's going on in Madison Square Garden is special. Like, the owner's not in the way anymore. Leon Rose is cooking. The organization loves playing for Tibbs. They love that guy. They respect that guy. No other coach can coach that team. So I don't want the Knicks to make a drastic decision just to make a decision. I have no problem running it back with these guys, making a tweak here and there. And then at the deadline, you can make a move to upgrade the roster for the playoff run. And then that offseason, I got to check the contracts and stuff. That's when you make the big move. If you can't get to the championship and you fall short again. So, and by the way, Miami Heat fans, shut your fucking faces because you guys act like this. Your team won multiple fucking championships, and Jimmy Butler could take a Michelob bottle and shove it straight up his fucking candy ass. I'm sick of you motherfuckers. Miami Heat culture ain't no fucking culture. You motherfuckers quit, and you motherfuckers are always hurt. And the Pacer fans too. You motherfuckers act like you won multiple rings. Reggie Miller, I got as many rings as you do, motherfucker, which is 0, bitch. So shut your alien-looking ass up. I'm sick of it. Listen. I can't watch the Eastern Conference Finals. I hate both teams. The Western Conference Finals, I'll watch a little something. Now, thanks to this, I'm forced with the fucking Mets and learning hockey names. I have to learn I have to learn fucking hockey names for my shows now.
We could practice Minerskin. We could practice all these Russian.
I know how to say that. Shesterkin, Kreider. Who else on that fuck?
And then you just went blank after the only 2 games.
There's too many whites in hockey for my liking.
I would like to point out our boy Raz is in the chat, and he is a Heat fan. He was like, hey, calm down. The Heat didn't do anything. But he's with us with the I hate Boston.
Yeah, like I can't root for any of those teams, Boston or Indiana. I don't give a fuck about them. I wrote Go Celtics because I want to see the Celtics choke in the finals. Like, that's the only reason I want Boston to win. So they can get to the finals and choke again with all their quote-unquote superstar power. Give me a fucking break. NBA, take your fucking Eastern Conference Finals and shove it up your ass. And the other thing is, before I let you go, if it's Halliburton versus Edwards, it's a snooze fest. Nobody gives a fuck about the Timberwolves versus the Indiana Pacers. No one. I love you guys. I'm on the fan this Sunday, 1 to 5 a.m. 877-337-6666. And yes, I'm gonna have to talk about hockey. So Shesterkin to floppity flop to Dinko. Peace.
That's our uncle Al right there.
Shout out to Theo.
Those of you in
Make
the
sure
chat,
you guys tune in this Saturday, Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. So if you're out Saturday night on the way home, once it hit midnight, Al comes on WFAN. Appreciate Al. That was funny. Go ahead, so it's my fault.
And you guys can also catch Al with Eddie and Aunt Rivera every Thursday for the Mets Evening Brew. Guys, we had a little ticker taper earlier. Got all kinds of content. The Knicks season may be over, but this cast right here, we talk all kinds of shit about everything. I see another guy backstage, and I know he's ready to just come up and talk about how Coach Tibbs is the most amazing coach that's ever existed.
Yes, he's the president.
He looked over.
You saw how he turned his face. So
I know your ass talking shit. CP, the artist, my guy is in the building.
CP,
where's my warning, man? I was waiting for my warning. I you know what I mean?
I started saying it.
I'm sorry. Hold on, wait. How about this?
Right.
CP, let me get a thumbs up and let me know you're ready to.
What's up, CP?
What's good, brother?
Man, I was about to start, you know what I'm saying? Getting naked or something like that. Anyway. Listen,
yo, funny shit on my Yankee show. There's a person that he pops up to the open panel, and I have to wait for him to like go around this house, use the bathroom, taking his shirt off. I'm like, bro, can you just fucking do that before jumping on my fault, CP? Go.
All right, listen. Everything you gotta say about Tibbs, he had a great regular season, but I gotta bring up history. We went to the playoffs, 3 out of 4 years, correct? The Atlanta series, right? He throws our favorite Knick of all time, Frank Ntilikina, in the game. We lose game 2, right? After that, we get mollywopped. Now, the excuse was he didn't have the players. Okay, so management says, okay, let's try to surround the young guys with some older guys the next year, and that fell apart. We missed the playoffs. Then we go to last year's playoffs. We take care of Cleveland. The Miami series. Do you know that Miami series? You really think about that Miami series? We should have gotten swept because game 2, we lost game 1, but we won game 2 because Jimmy Butler was hurt and he didn't play. And the rest was history because we lost game 3 and game 4. That should have been a sweep. But people were saying, oh, but he didn't have a roster. But he had Derrick Rose on the bench, just chilling there, didn't do anything for all the season. All right, maybe he wouldn't have helped at 30-something years old, right? So let's go to this year. Game 3 of the season. As long as I've been a Knicks fan for 40 years now, you're supposed to at least take one game on the road. And that one game was game 3. We were playing great, and nobody was complaining about injuries. We already lost OG game 2. In game 3, we were up by 10 points. Dante DiVincenzo had 35 points. You know how many shots he took in the fourth quarter? He took 5. Now how many Jalen Brunson took? He took 7. Jalen Brunson, for that game, he was 10 for 26. Cold. Everything that Rick Carlisle threw at Jalen Brunson, because as far as I know, since I've been watching the playoffs, you're supposed to contain the best player. And that was the job that Rick Carlisle had for stopping the Knicks. And that was just inevitable. They're going to stop Jalen Brunson. And somebody else had to beat us. So in that fourth quarter, we only scored 16 points to the Pacers, like 26 or 29. That was the difference of the game. If we would have won that game 3, this would be a different story. Everybody want to complain about injuries. I ain't, because the team didn't. So we come back to New York after the Mother's Day massacre. Game 5. Boo Indiana off the court. Then we had not 1, but 2 days rest. Came to Indiana, and we got beat in game 6. After that, it was over. No one complained no one said, oh, why wasn't the team not ready to play, and so forth, so on, so forth, this and that. I'm not saying that Tibbs is a bad coach. All I'm saying is this. Does he deserve an extension? Based off the playoff history and based off of where we're going as a franchise. Eddie, you can help me out on this one. In a couple of years, we're going to hit one of the aprons, correct? If we're going to hit one of the aprons, thank you. We're going to hit that. So I'm going to ask you guys, right, if you have children, are you going to give the kid, your firstborn, when they turn 16 years old, the luxury car, or are you going to give them the hoopty? Because you can trust them with the hoopty, but the luxury car, you have to give that to somebody that knows how to drive a luxury car. I'm not saying get a whole coaching staff. You could keep the same culture. You could keep the same individuals with Johnny Bryant. That's all I'm saying. Promote him to head coach. I think Thibodeau at 64, 66 years old, I think he created the culture like Mark Jackson did. It's time to bring somebody who isn't afraid to, give nuance and offensive skill, offensive plays, and that's my take.
No, and I think that's a solid take when you look at the trajectory of the squad with Tom Thibodeau, right? Because you brought up a perfect example with Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson had to be the coach in Golden State so Steve Kerr can come and take that Warriors team and turn it into the dynasty that they eventually became. That's a fact right there, right? Just like when you look at the Yankees, for instance, Joe Torre, he won championships. right? But the Yankees had to take a season of not making it to the postseason with Joe Girardi. So when he won his championship, he could say, hey, I won it on my own, not piggybacking off of the next person. So legacy is a big factor of it. Tom Thibodeau, he's been a part of the culture change that's been going along here in New York City since Leon Rose has come here. Do I think Tom Thibodeau could be the coach that takes us eventually to the Larry O'Brien trophy coming down Fifth Avenue? I don't think so, right? But do I think Tom Thibodeau is the coach that can lay the foundation and lay the groundwork to eventually that head coach coming along? Absolutely. And I think when people are talking with Tom Thibodeau, I eventually seen Tom Thibodeau. I don't see him getting fired as the Knicks head coach. I see him getting elevated into the front office to work alongside Leon Rose and then have Johnny Bryant or whoever else that Tom Thibodeau grooms to take over for him. If that was how you was trying to phrase it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Phil.
So here's the thing. Some of the points.
Everybody, my fault. Everybody, check your post. Me and CP, the artist, agreed on something. I just want to say that. Everybody, just make sure hell's not frozen over. I just wanted to.
As long as we ain't talking about politics.
We good, brother. Go ahead.
Some of the points make sense. However, here's the thing: is I'm not going off of past anymore because the situation is different. Like it just is. I'm looking at, yes, you're like, oh, he's a regular season coach. Okay, regular season coach with teams that have been good. Our team is good, but it's partially because of what Tom Thibodeau has been able to do with a bunch of replacement players through injury. Like at the end of the day, you can't look at this roster and go, oh, well, the guys, themselves got there. Like, no, you're having these guys say, I was not this player before I came to New York. Like, if you could look at Josh Hart and be like, oh, of course they got where they got. They had Josh Hart. Well, no, Josh Hart was never Josh Hart, who he is in the Knicks uniform, that he was before. You can't go, oh, well, they had Isaiah Hartenstein. Of course they were able to pull this off. Why? Hartenstein was not who Hartenstein was until he came and played under Tom Thibodeau. You can't say, oh, Dante DiVincenzo. Of course they were able to pull out the 2 seed. They had Dante DiVincenzo. Well, no, Dante was not who Dante is now before he was in a Knicks uniform. So I can't use the same story that I used last year because I was on that take last year. But the situation is completely different. And when I look at that game 3, I'm as frustrated as you are in game 3. But Jalen Brunson said it himself that he is pretty much to blame for how he took over that fourth quarter. And if you look, unfortunately, Dante DiVincenzo, yes, your point is so right that Dante was a human torch up until the fourth quarter. But if you look, in that 5 shots he took, he was 1 for 5. He went ice cold in the fourth quarter, which is kind of what sparked the Jalen Brunson feeling like he had to be a superhero in that fourth quarter. Okay, Dante DiVincenzo was 1 for 5, 1 for 3 from the 3-point line, and 1 for 5 in totality in that fourth quarter. So it's not like he was still torching people and Jalen Brunson then became, a ball hog and decided, I don't want Dante to shine. That's not what we saw in that fourth quarter. Unfortunately, in that fourth quarter, our main guy that was keeping us in that game went cold. And instead of Jalen Brunson going, how can we do this as a team? Jalen Brunson dropped the ball in that fourth quarter and tried to put the city on his back and did not have a good enough game to even do that. Like, that was a bad call on Jalen Brunson's part. But at the end of the day, you look, our main scorer was still in that game, which Tibbs would typically screw up in past seasons and pull the best scorer and put out his guys. But that's not what he did. Dante was still out there.
However, Phil, do you remember game 82?
What?
Game 82.
Yeah.
Against the Bulls, where for 6 minutes it was primarily iso ball.
Yeah.
This is what Tom Thibodeau's game plan normally is. The final 6 minutes or so, give it to your best players, have them iso, and when the game for him.
Okay.
That was
So
game
here's my
82,
point.
and that's always been the MO.
The fact
You
that
have to be more nuanced to that.
Games are the example show that that's not a majority of what you saw in the second half of the season. Like it's not at all. If we would have won that game 3, like most of our season, we've talked about how we saw ball movement that we never saw before. Like any channel you watch talked about how this was weird that we actually started seeing ball movement. The fact that we had a top 10 offensive and defensive rated team shows that this was not the Tom Thibodeau of years before. Okay? That we could actually say that we actually had a good offensive team. So yes, I agree with some things, but here we're saying, okay, we've given the keys to a guy in Jalen Brunson. We've revolved the players such as Dante, Josh Hart, and stuff like that around this player. This is our foundation. They are saying, screw what everyone else thinks. We are who we are because of Tom Thibodeau. You think that this organization is just going to go and hope that there's a fly on the wall chance that Johnny Bryant can get the same kind of commitment and dedication from these players that we are seeing, that our star is saying it's because of Tom Thibodeau? Like, there's a difference between the Mark Jackson situation, because you didn't have players saying we are who we are, and it's because Mark Jackson is Mark Jackson. Like, you didn't have that. Though Mark Jackson laid a foundation, he didn't, like, him leaving and not being that next coach didn't ruffle the feathers of those players. That's why it was so easy for Kerr to get the commitment and buy-in to these players, because they were going to be that team that they were growing into, whether Mark stayed or not. That is not what you're hearing last game of the season from our star and every other player on the roster in their postgame interview.
Phil, what are they going to say? They're not going to throw their coach underneath the bus in front of the public.
There's a difference between throw him underneath the bus and giving
Obi Toppin over a leaked audio got shipped out for two second round picks. They're not going to say that.
There's a difference between throwing someone under the bus and being like, hey, Tom Thibodeau did a good job. He deserves credit. But saying that we are the team and we are the players that we are because of the DNA of Tom Thibodeau, they don't have to say that. They don't have to say that, especially if they think that coach is on the way out. So
I think he set the culture. I think Johnny Bryant and that coaching staff will be perfectly fine.
Johnny Bryant's never coached one game as an NBA coach.
And
what makes you think
Tom Thibodeau became a head coach, he never coached one either.
Okay,
he was a coordinator too.
How did the Knicks win their games this year, CP? How did they win?
Off of the players.
How? How exactly did they win?
They had the right players. This is my other take too. I believe they played better despite this, because despite Tom Thibodeau. Call it blasphemy, but if you switch Rick Carlisle and Tom Thibodeau on two different teams, who do you got?
Nobody. A coach. A coach. You got to blame it on the coach. It's not the coach. The bottom line, why they didn't win, was because the Knicks win. How the Knicks win is when they out-rebound the other team, when they get more points in the paint than the other team. They get more second chance points. They get out on the break, and they hit their shots. In the last 2 games, they did none of that. They didn't hit their shots. They shot 42% yesterday, okay? They got out-rebounded by a fucking mile in the last 3 games, okay? That's Tibbs. Tibbs gives you that defensive mentality. Tibbs, you limit turnovers, you limit mistakes. That's what he does. Those guys play a smart brand of basketball. Without Tibbs, that group of players, that group would have been out in a fucking play-in. They would have been to the play-in.
Last thing I'll say, and then we got to move on.
What a big Tibbs guy.
I was at those 2 games, including the Mother's Day Massacre, and anytime things were going off the rail, Tibbs made the right decision, calling the timeout, trying to regroup the team. Those guys did not play with the heart and effort that Tibbs calls them to. And you look at yesterday, even that turnover with TJ McConnell, Tibbs called the timeout to regroup. Jalen Brunson was not regrouped when he went out there. He didn't even pay attention to the fact that TJ McConnell was right behind him. So you can't blame the coach for things that he's calling timeouts and saying, this is not working. We need to do this, that, and whatever. If the players do not do that, you cannot blame the coach for that.
I would say last thing, right? And then we got Double A and we got my guy Met backstage as well. We're going to bring him up. I just want to say two things. One, when it comes to the whole Johnny Bryan thing, I agree with CP, right? But I still think Johnny Bryan may need some more seasoning. So what I want from Tom Thibodeau, the first year when we had Tom Thibodeau and Johnny Bryan was his assistant coach alongside of Mike Woodson, who I think the Knicks should have never got rid of. But shout out to Woody for going back and coaching your alma mater. I've always been a fan of Mike Woodson, even back when he was the head coach of this team, right? But what happened that season was we traded for Derrick Rose, and what did Tom Thibodeau do? He allowed Johnny Bryan to be more involved with the offense. So this offseason, Tom Thibodeau, Johnny Bryan, and Jalen Brunson's pops, you sit down and allow Johnny Bryan and allow Rick Brunson to get more responsibilities when it comes to calling the offensive side of the things. Because the one thing about Johnny Bryan, there's a reason why, even though he's still on the Knicks, there's a reason why Donovan Mitchell still trains with Johnny Bryan. There's a reason why other NBA players in the offseason are allowed to trade with Johnny Bryan. Do I think he's ready right now to take over that head coach job? He may not be ready right now. He may get the job, and we may miss the postseason his first year as a head coach, just like with Joe Girardi. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking here. Just like with Joe Girardi and the Yankees. My fault, just noise outside. But no,
look,
I think eventually he needs more seasoning, and hopefully next year he could get more responsibility when it comes to calling the X's and O's on the offensive side of things. Shout out to everybody in the building. And I just want to say for the past 10, 15 minutes, me and CP the artist been the bestie friends. I just want to say that. Shout out to you, brother.
When we were 29-5 or whatever we were with Randall. All right. Where was Johnny Bryan then?
29.
He wasn't on the team.
When Randall was cooking and OG were cooking, when OG first got here, where was Johnny Bryan? That offense was almost perfect when we had Randall.
That was beautiful. Yeah, I don't think I'm not disagreeing with you on that. Yeah,
because we're fucking Johnny Bryan. Johnny Bryan's gonna
wait, but Johnny Bryan was the. But Johnny Bryan is the. But Johnny Bryan. Eddie,
I'm playing the producer card. Time out.
Eddie, Johnny Bryan is on the staff right now.
I understand, but everyone's going to bring us to the fucking championship.
All right. Let's cut it in, CP. We love you. You're wrong, but I love you.
I had to get this out my system because I'm not talking about Knicks anymore. I gotta go make some money and I gotta go see some hoes.
You good. Yo, keep on doing your thing when it comes to the artistry. Keep doing your thing when it comes to your art, bro. You do an amazing job.
Look, all I was gonna say was try to reel things in is I appreciate all four of you giving your takes, but also I don't give a shit because I'm extending Tibbs. So kiss my ass. Double A is in the building.
Hey.
Double A, before we give your take, hold on, Phil. Hold on. Let me go ahead. We got a shout out. Luna G just bought us a coffee, just showing my love and support. Thank you for all you do. Love watching the show with my love. Hey, it's on Dios's wife.
I was about to say, if I'm not mistaken, that's on Dios's wife right there. Shout out to Luna. Shout out to our guy on Dios as well. Also, shout out to everybody who's been like helping us from the community. Double A, J Boogie, CT Pittman, all of you guys who are a part of these conversations. CP the artist, I am Jarrell, Eric Gonzalez, my guy Jacob Petruzzi, who has been one of the solid ones from the beginning. Double A is getting his text message right now from the bingo hall. His bus is picking him up in 30 minutes.
Double A, I give you full permission to kick his ass, bro. Kick his ass, boy.
I love you, Double A.
Before we talk to the muscle man, and we switch the topic because CP got me all finished when it comes to tips.
Well, hopefully, look.
Hold on, Double A. Let's go ahead.
Hold up. Double A, we're going to switch a little bit because I want your thoughts on something. All right? Okay. Because we've seen the blood, sweat, and tears of Jalen Brunson all season, you know? And if we would have advanced to the next round, it would have been a different story from a lot of these fans. Now you have fans wanting to pivot, that Jalen Brunson's not it, that we don't need Jalen Brunson. We need a better point guard. We need this, that, and whatever, which is why I purposely wore this Captain Clutch hoodie, because it's hot as crap today, but there is no way in hell I'm moving past Jalen Brunson, first of all. Second of all, shout out to Print Jurisdiction and Nothing But Knicks, because this is a dope freaking hoodie. But at the end of the day, Jalen Brunson is one of the best Knicks we have seen in a Knick uniform in years. Absolute, years. And when this guy's in the post-game interview and you ask him, is this season a success? And he replies, not talking about any of his accolades, anything like that. He says, did we win a championship? Did we get close? No, that's my mindset. That's how it is. No, it wasn't a success. That's the kind of guy you want leading your squad. So I want to know your thoughts, AA, on Jalen Brunson, regardless of, what people want to pivot right now and talk trash about him. What are your thoughts on Jalen Brunson and this organization moving forward on the foundation of Jalen Brunson?
Okay, look, this is how I feel, man. What can you say about a guy that takes his team to second seed in a very competitive Eastern Division, right? Losing his whole starting front court. We lost our starting center. We lost our starting shooting small forward. We lost our starting power forward, right? Four of the 5 guys that started for us most of this season never started a game in their life, okay? Facts. Jalen Brunson, this is the second season as a starter, as a full-time starter, okay? This guy did not get an MVP vote, which was tragedy, because of what I just mentioned. The guy had nobody on his team. Okay, Jokic is a great player, but come on, Jokic had his full team. Anthony Edwards had his full team. These guys that were mentioned, man, great players, but bro, they had their full team. But these things have failed to mention. Now, these fans that are coming out and attacking the players and the coach and the team, most of them, if you took a survey, you'd probably find out they're guys that just started following the Knicks or fair weather Knicks fans. When the Knicks are good, they jump on it. When the Knicks are bad, they're nowhere to be seen. You know what I mean? But if you're talking about replacing either Tom Thibodeau or Jalen Brunson, you might as well just blow the whole freaking team apart, because it's built that way. We are built that way. We are Tom Thibodeau's team. No other coach, not even Johnny Bryant, can step in here and take command of this team as it is right now. Okay? Number one, you're going to piss off half of your team. You're going to piss off the players that matter on this team anyway, because, they got Tibbs back. They got Brunson's back. My feeling, fellas, is look, and this is what kills me, man. And this is why I have a hard time watching TNT telecasts and all these telecasts and watching these phonies and Knick haters, because, how can you hate on a team that finished in the second seed in the Eastern Division with half the freaking team out, and one guy leads them to the second round of the playoffs? And each round we're losing players, man. Players are going down. Players were going down. We went down fighting, bro. We went down scrapping. It's no more, like Tom Thibodeau said, we had no more to give, bro. We had no more to give. And anybody who can look at me in the face straight and tell me, if we had Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, and OG Anunoby for these playoffs in conference finals right now. If I was the Pacers, I wouldn't be like licking my ass, man, and being all happy, because guess what, bro? You beat a depleted Knicks team, and next year we coming for your ass.
Just gotta say, that's talent right there. You're able to lick your own ass. I just wanted to point that out. He said it. I just wanted to point that out.
But we're coming with the heat next year, and I don't see how Knicks fan cannot be happy in the situation we're in. And if we need to stay on the course. Tom Thibodeau deserves an extension, just like he deserved Coach of the Year this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
A double A. I agree with you because that's how I started my monologue when we first came out of the intro. When you look at our team right now, when you look at the players, who is the core of this team? Jalen Brunson, right? Julius Randle, right? Mitchell Robinson, if you want to put him in that conversation. Dante, Josh Hart. These guys are all signed long term. I know Jalen's contract is coming up, but Dante, Josh Hart, the role players, they're signed, right? Jalen Brunson, he's still very young. He's not old, and he's not a 10-year vet like Patrick Ewing was a 10-year vet when we brought in Larry Johnson, when we brought in Allen Houston, when we brought in Spreeville. Jalen Brunson is entering and is in his prime right now. So the future is bright. We have so many draft picks to trade. It's just going to come down. This offseason is going to be one of the most important off seasons for this franchise. And I just want to point something out real quick. I know Draymond Green, he had that take that went viral about the Knicks and was comparing us to the Hawks and the Portland Trailblazers. One, he copied somebody else's take. That's somebody else's take. That's actually Unc from a different podcast. So Draymond Green is out here copying other people's takes. That's one. Secondly, when you digest both those situations, both Portland and both the Atlanta Hawks. When you look at Portland, the Portland Trailblazers, when they made that run 2018, 2019, whatever it was, when the Portland Trailblazers, I'm going to ask you, Eddie, if CJ McCollum went down the same time Julius Randle went down, does the Portland Trailblazers even make that postseason?
Not a
Without
chance.
CJ McCollum? Absolutely not. When you look at the Atlanta Hawks, right? You had Trae Young and who's that power forward? I forgot the name. That was an all-star. He wound up being traded to Utah to whatever team.
Collins
was an all-star that year, right? If John Collins goes down the same way that Julius Randle went down at the same time, the Atlanta Hawks don't even make the postseason that year. So everybody want to digest and dissect the New York Knicks, and they're not talking about the fact that Jalen Brunson and this team was able to make it to the second seed without their second all-star and Julius Randle. If you're going to have the conversation, you have to be able to include every point of the convo. You can't just be missing pieces of the conversation. The missing piece of these conversations was Julius Randle's health, was Mitchell Robinson's health, was Bojan Bogdanovic. When you look at it now with Jalen Brunson, we got 6 guys who are injured. That's a starting lineup and a 6-man coming off of the bench. And we still was able to make it to round 2, 7 games as a second seed.
It's facts, bro.
It's facts.
I want to bring up
and it's all facts, bro. It's all facts.
Last words before you go. And again, appreciate you, Double A, this entire season. You found us and you've been rocking out with us every day that we've been live. You've been supporting us. We linked up in Yankee spring training. Double A, I'm proud to say that I can call you an uncle, and I mean that, Double A.
Facts, baby. Facts. We got fam, man. I got fam. I got four new brothers, man. But look, you got to feel positive and happy about the direction of this team, man. You got to be happy. And for me, let's stay as we are. I'm hoping they can keep Hartenstein. And look, the good thing about it, right, Eddie, is we got Randle on a contract for another year. So I wouldn't go crazy with that, man. I'd like to see how we look with our full team back in health before I'd make any crazy moves, man. And because of the contract situation with Randle, we have next year to see, because if anything, that preview when we had Randle and OG and Mitch and the whole team together, bro, that was awesome, bro. So I'd like to see that. All right. Thanks, fellas.
Here's one thing I want to say, Double A. I appreciate you. You've been a blessing. We love you, bro. Like, you are family. Thank you for everything. It was great connecting with you in person and the fam meeting you. Yep. We appreciate you, bro. And at the end of the day, I'm going to trust the front office because they're what got us here. These changes are what the front office did in the offseason, what they did during the season. And so thanks for being my apprentice this season. And we will pick up where we left off when we start, Knicks Morning Brew back up. But we love you, bro.
Hey, you guys lose my intern application.
No. You're good. You're good. It was already processed. Yeah, you're good. Later, Double A. Appreciate you. We're going to bring up Matt And we're going to bring up Jonathan. We got Soulfinger and Ron backstage. It's 12:12 right now. We're going to keep rocking out to about like 12:30, 12:40. Again, appreciate everybody who's in the building. Over 230 of you fine folks. Smack the like button. Hit the subscribe button. My guy, Matt, what it do?
I'm just going to be blunt. There were three factors that basically had the Knicks' balls chopped off from Game 3 forward. One, Brunson being overkill with the tunnel vision, keeping his head down, focusing on the ball instead of looking at the passing lanes. Two, the injuries. And three, and which is what I think killed the Knicks, Rick Carlisle whining like a little bitch to the NBA front offices to demand that the refs call the games more fairly, and yet that just led to more officiating corruption.
Yeah.
After he snitched, we had our balls cut off. We couldn't be physical defensively anymore. You know, Carlisle, the only reason you're even in the conference finals is because of your whiny little behavior.
Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, what I try to do is see what the team said, you know, and that's why I credit the team. You know, they take full responsibility for where they drop the ball. And even though Carlisle, you know, was a complete embarrassment to grown manhood and how you should act as an adult, yet alone a professional making a bunch of money playing coaching basketball. Our guys didn't even let him phase him.
I'm going to swear this. If Indiana wins the title because of that kind of behavior, it should be considered tainted, and the rest of the NBA fans should boycott the association for that kind of whiny behavior. And Adam Silver should get his ass fired for being such an overkill people pleaser, sweeping that kind of behavior under the rug instead of calling him out on it and giving him a little more than a slap in the wrist. As far as I'm concerned, he should have given Carlisle a punch in the face.
I love Mets' energy. Every time Mets shows up, I just get hyped. Like, I want to punch somebody, Mets. Like, my cats are not safe right now at all. Every time Mets talks, I'm like, get out of here. But Mets, last night's game, man, like, because I'm hearing everything you're saying. For you, what was the biggest issue for us last night? If you had to pinpoint one thing, what do you think? Okay. Oh, I know Eddie's back. He wants to jump on this. All right, Eddie.
Go ahead, Eddie.
He said the screen hedging is the biggest issue he saw last night. How'd you feel?
Screen hedging?
No cutting off the screens Indiana was doing.
Dude.
Defensively. Or getting back with defensive urgency.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. In Hart's case, he was injured, but what about Deuce? He was just jogging back to the... There was no cutting off of the lanes.
Bro, they shot 67% for the game. They shot 76% in the first quarter. In the first half. Do you think you're going to beat a team shooting 67%, which is an NBA record for Game 7? You think we're going to beat that team with injured Josh Hart, with an injured OG Anunoby? The answer is no. And then Brunson goes down. We're not getting that win. It's a wrap. It was a wrap.
It literally took them having a record-breaking Game 7 shooting and us to have our entire team out for us to lose.
Right.
Like, and that's why, again, I can't jump out the window in a bad way. Like, there is nothing about this season that I'm sitting here saying, man, that sucked. Outside of injuries.
Sucked that everybody got injured. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
we don't know what. Point the finger of blame at the injuries, Eddie, but the biggest scapegoat is Carlisle.
Carlisle? What?
Yeah, no, I see what Mets is saying. Things changed after that. 78 grievances and complaints and everything, and things changed up a lot after that one. I hear that. But Mets, that puts us in a position then that we're making excuses. There's no need for us to make excuses because you don't have to. When you're going into a Game 7 and three of your guys, two of them, are completely injured, but stepping up because they want to play for their boys and their city and their team. And then you lose your main piece, which, by the way, anybody, I think maybe there's something wrong with our chat because I keep seeing the word star in front of Jalen. It's missing a super. I don't care what anybody says. Put the damn super before that star when you're talking on Jalen Brunson. Put some damn respect on it. Okay, we left this season not where we wanted, but we left it with how can you not expect next season to be that much better? If 30 is healthy, come on now. Go ahead, Heck. Sorry.
My fault. I don't mean to cut you off. I was going to ask Matt. I just want to ask you a question before we let you go because we got other people to come up. Without incriminating yourself or myself, you want to go take a trip to go see Adam Silver and have a convo with him without incriminating each other?
Someone's got to depose of him.
Let's go. Let's do it.
You at least knew he was firm but fair. Silver, an overkill political people pleaser.
Yeah, Matt, appreciate you, brother. Like always, again, appreciate your passion. Make sure you tune in this Thursday for Eddie Presti, Ant Rivera, and also our guy Al Centron to talk the New York Mets. Mets, appreciate you. Always love seeing you on Uncle Freeze's panel. Always holding it down. Shout out to you with your dope takes, bro. That's my guy, Matt. I'm gonna bring up Soulfinger, then I'm gonna bring up Ron and then Jonathan. Soulfinger, let me get a thumbs up to let me know you ready to rock out. All right, this is my brother Soulfinger. The smoothest voice in the Dago is my guy Soulfinger. How you doing, brother?
What's happening, fellas? What's going down, man? Hey, it's always a blessing to be able to get on with you cats. You know, hey, you make my day. You know, and there's no sense of holding your head down. Granted, yeah, I'm in black, but I'm not in mourning. Actually, I'm sitting up here with if I had on one of those old school elephant collar shirts I had the shirt out open with the taco meat exposed, chest out exposed, with a cool cigarette in hand, hey, taking in the sunshine, because we had a good season, man. I don't care what you say.
I gotta ask you, Soulfinger, before you continue, are you in the same house Celso was in? Because that bird is going off just like the bird in Celso's house. Or you just got a bird yourself?
We got, man, my daughters, man, both of them got birds, man. It's almost like I got Animal Farm up in this joker, dog.
Well, shout out to my guy
Soulfinger. At least you still have kids in the house, and that's why you have the birds. My kid gave up the bird, and now I'm stuck with the birds, and the kid don't even live here anymore.
Hey, they'll be do the same thing. But
yeah,
man,
Soulfinger, keep cooking.
Hey,
I'm just saying, man. Look,
all right, so I want to hear your take on the season. But I also want to switch things up a little bit, and so we don't get stale on topics that we've heard about. But there's a quote, not a quote, but something that Stephen Bondi posted that really, to me, sparks conversation. It was what Josh Hart said as he was leaving the locker room for the last time this season. This is what he turned and said to everybody in the locker room, including the staff, including the players, and including the reporters that were there. He said, leaving the locker room, he pointed at Hartenstein and OG and said, these two better come back. So, there's a lot of speculation on people thinking, is Hartenstein worth it? Is re-signing OG, something that we really should be doing? According to Josh Hart, those are non-negotiables. Those are things that he's like, this better happen. So I want to hear your thoughts on the season, but also on those closing statements of Josh Hart for the season.
I'll start off on what you just brought up there, Field of Agony. You say it's Field all caps, but it's Field of Agony because he be bringing that truth. So I'm going to put it like this up, man. There's a bear shit in the wood and wipe his ass with a white rabbit. You damn right he does. Bring them back, bro. Period, point blank. That you don't. We actually have a team. You got core pieces that you can bring in. You could and why leave? Why they got a synergy and a connection already. Granted, Al Hart had what the greatest game he had, but look, he's been solid standing in for Mitch. And then when Mitch come back, he and Mitch were like twin bookends. The media tried to start this controversy, which didn't pan out. You see Al Hart representing Mitch with the T-shirt on the side, and cats talk about don't bring back, don't sign OG. So you telling me OG not worth the money? You telling me OG ain't worth the money? If he for what he brought. So correct me if I'm wrong. The stats was 25-5 with OG on the team when we brought him in, or something like that.
Yep.
So if I have $25 and you have $5, who got the most? You know what I'm saying? The math ain't mathing if you're talking about not signing this man. And he fits. You talking about the perfect piece to fit into what Tibbs does? And don't even get me started on that, because I'm just like you, Phil. I was like, get Tibbs up out of here at one time. But I'm like, no. So I got me some medication. If a lot of people that's doing that like that, and questioning, you don't looking at what he's doing and has done, This is medication. This is stuff called shut the hell up. Take a big dose and shut the hell up. Keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got to do. Shut the hell up. Keep it pushing. Let them do what they're doing. Bring those two back. You don't break it up. You don't break up the party, man. You just add to the party. But letting those two go, no, man. I think that'd be a bad mistake. You can still add on, but those two are pieces. Now, as far as the season, oh man, look, I'm happy with the season. Disappointed in the loss, but I'm happy with the season because these cats were fighting tooth and nail, scratching and clawing. You couldn't ask for much. This team, for those that can remember the '90s Knicks, how they used to fight and all like that. Regardless, I mean, I ain't talking about just with the Dick Skinners, but they used to sit up there was getting it in on the court. These cats brought it. You know what I'm saying? They brought it. They had what a lot of teams don't have is heart. Because the minute Randall went down, most teams would have just like, one of our main players, they'd have packed it in 1, 2, 3 Cancun, and we're not in the lottery. How many seasons have we not been in the lottery, man? How long has it been since we've been in the lottery? You got to look at that. It's progression.
So Finger, I was just about to say, so Finger, when we first started talking, we were talking Frank Ntilikina, we were talking Alfred Payton, we was talking Kevin Knox. We was looking at a potential draft and maybe Zion Williams. That's when we first started, and that's what Knicks fans have to understand. In order for us to get to where we were at this season with Dante, with Jalen, with Josh Hart, in order for us to have gotten here, we needed to go through Jeff Hornacek. We needed to go through David Fizdale, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett as a rookie, Derek Fisher. We needed to go through that in order to get here. And now that we're here collectively as a fan base, it is a good vibe. It is a good feeling. And if you're in the city or if you're outside the city, it doesn't matter because we are all connected because of this thing that's called YouTube, because of X, because of Instagram, because of social media, the way that Eddie Presti be holding live spaces on X spaces at nighttime, holding it down, killing it. We are all connected, even though we're millions of miles away. So, brother, you're on the other side of the country, but I still call you my brother. I still call you family. I still call you my man. I know if I'm going through it right now, I could call my guy Soulfinger and he would talk me off the ledge. Shout out to Ron from Still Nick fan talking off the ledge. You know what I mean? But I just throw that in there. Go ahead. And I throw it over to Phil, and we're going to bring up Ron right now, actually, as we talk, and then Jonathan, and we got some more people to join. But go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like you said, those are guys to me that changed the season. Like we thought the season was over when Mitch went down. How many posts can we pull up where we were like, well, that's the season. Like we lost our defensive player of the year. And yes, in some cases, that might have been the case if you didn't have an Isaiah Hartenstein ready to improve off the bench. But he came in and kept us afloat defensively, but also unlocked a lot for us offensively. So for me, that's a non-negotiable. We talked about it the other night on the Knicks nightcap, and 4 of us were like, there's no way in hell you let Isaiah Hartenstein walk. You figure that out. That's priority number 1. Second, OG, it changed the way we played as well. Like it unlocked something in us defensively that made everybody around us better defensively. Like that's the kind of thing, like you make those priority. People are like, we need this, that, whatever. Well, we will find those things. But if we trade those or let them go, don't re-sign them, then we're losing way more than anything we could be gaining. So we need to bring those two back. We need to bring those two back because if not, we have a way bigger list of what we need to find if we let those two guys go.
Man, you do that.
So appreciate you, Soulfinger.
Real quick,
go ahead. So go ahead.
If they let them go, that's like us. That's like if they let them go, that's like Eddie being without a blazer, bro. Can't do that. You gotta have it with a blazer. You can't do that.
That's a fact. Eddie always gotta have on a blazer. Soulfinger, I love you, my guy. I'm gonna bring up Jonathan right now to join us. Then I'm gonna throw it over to Ron, and then Nice, and then Sunil backstage. I'm gonna wrap things up. I think. Hold on, Phil. You got something down there. I'm gonna bring it up. Go ahead, Phil. Lean on this.
Yeah, so I want to talk about this more with Ron coming up. People are talking in the chat about moves that we have to make. Everyone wanted to wait till the offseason. Well, guess what? We're in the offseason. So Jonathan, how important is it to make sure that we bring these guys back?
Jonathan, it hasn't been more than 24 hours and you're already letting your hair grow. Like, I know we're upset about the Knicks, but
this is how I look.
Jesus Christ, Jonathan, you look like you just got out of a bender right now. I know the Knicks was bad and it broke our hearts. I'm joking. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
He's in the car because he's leaving the bar from last night. This is Jonathan leaving to go home to sleep.
Slept in the car.
Yeah, I slept in the car. That's good. Well, and then, regardless of what other people think, I think this year was a very positive year for the Knicks. I think they have to re-sign OG. OG would be the number one priority, and I think isn't Hart a free agent also?
No.
So,
iHeart is a free agent.
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with iHeart. I don't know what they're gonna do as a backup center to Mitchell Robinson. But you have to remember this, and this is something you mentioned earlier. The Knicks got to where they are with 5 of their main players injured, and you got Brunson playing with 1 foot. So this year is a big win for next year. Imagine if you had those 5 guys relatively healthy, without you're missing you got where you are and missing big pieces of your roster. This year was a win in my book. It's not necessarily, yes, it sucks not to be in the finals, but you have something to look forward to next year, and getting the right pieces to improve this team. I can see, if that happens, I could see an NBA Finals next year.
Facts. Yep. Jonathan, you hit it right on the head. And when it comes down to it, I think when it comes to this offseason, priorities should be, what are we doing with OG Anunoby? That should be on the top tier. And then right after that is Isaiah Hartenstein. And then
has to be re-signed.
But that's what I think. I think that's number one priority, and then iHeart, Jonathan, like you said.
Yeah.
OG's gonna get
the number one priority, and that is the fact. Because you saw when OG went out, when was not on this team, the Knicks were playing like someone was standing on their neck. They were suffocating out there without OG.
Yeah. Jonathan, appreciate you. We still got more people to bring up. Ron, let me know if you're ready to go. And Jonathan, always look forward to the conversation. See you later on tonight for our Yankees pregame report. So I'm going to bring it up to Ron. This is my guy, Ron, one of the smoothest voices on the YouTube world, as you know it. My guy, Ron, from Still Knick Fans. Ron, how you doing?
Hey! What up?
Go ahead, Ron. Go ahead, Ron. Talk to the people. Yeah. This is Ron used to make silent movies back in the days. This is what all this is from.
Charlie Chaplin and
I was like, those are my words. That's all I got. No. Anyway, guys, man, listen.
First of all, happy belated birthday to you, brother. Happy belated birthday to you, Ron. Happy birthday.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys.
Everybody in the chat, throw the happy birthdays for our friend, our good friend, our family, Ron from Still Knick Fans.
Man, this was one of them years, bro. It was a great year, fantastic. I mean, I know we were all excited. We knew that the team was on the rise and we were believing in them, and we never expected them to reach such heights so quickly, because remember, we're going into the season thinking they're going to make some changes, but they got this roster. Hopefully they can do something. We wound up with OG. We weren't expecting to get OG. OG comes in here. We're like firing on all cylinders, knocking people out. The best team in January in the NBA. Then the injuries come. And then, so I just want to say this because I think this is really everything in a microcosm, and I apologize if anybody said this earlier. I caught the show. I came to the show maybe about 15 minutes late. Bottom line here is this team dealt with so many injuries, And other teams that had those type of injuries that we had, their season could have turned in a different direction. Some teams might not even made the playoffs after dealing with certain injuries that we were dealing with. But this team picked up next man up mentality, all that good stuff, and guys just stepped up to another level, and they gave us another sense, another level of hope. You know, they made us feel like, oh, it don't matter who we got, we're gonna run through because we that team, we got that identity. And unfortunately, at a certain point, you start to run into, you know, other teams, and they're healthy, and they do have things that they do well as well. And just reality hits. It's not easy to beat another team in a 7-game series when you're not fully healthy, and you continue to have something else go wrong and somebody else get hurt. It's tough. I mean, I don't care how good we think we are. I think another thing I want to say is a lot of Knicks fans just took Indiana for granted. Okay,
Yes.
I think the Knicks are a better team than Indiana. I've said that. I know. Shout out to Knicks 100. Shout out to Eddie. They were both saying different things like, you know, you got to watch Indiana. It's not the greatest matchup, the styles and all this. I got it. I still felt good about the Knicks because I thought they had enough to beat that team. But the bottom line is Indiana is the best offensive team in the NBA. That is something you got to deal with. I don't care how you think that defense stinks. They got some defensive players. Maybe they don't have the greatest team defense. Individually, they got some good defensive players. You know, Nesmith played good defensively. McConnell played good defensively. And shout out to, let me tell you something. To me, he's the difference. People are going to point to Halliburton and whoever else they want to point to on this team. That team beat the Knicks, and maybe they'll make the series interesting with Boston. They won't win, but they'll make it interesting because of Miles Turner.
Right.
Miles Turner's defensive ability, him being able to block shots. This dude's a monster with blocking shots, and his ability to knock down threes. This guy's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. The way he shoots threes, that's an issue. That's a problem, and that's the difference. And maybe that's something the Knicks need to look at next year. They might need to get themselves a stretch big, you know, at some point. But go ahead, guys. I know Phil said he wanted to talk about something else. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So before we move topics, we don't want to forget we had a campaign that we did for that Jack Abrams blue and orange backpack, and we totally forgot to draw the winner because the site that we did it through actually won't let us do a duck race. So I'm going to choose the winner right here before you guys, so you guys can see the site choosing it. We had over 150 people, get into the competition, and multiple different ways that they went about it. So I'm gonna click this little thing right here that says draw winner. You see it says 0 of 1 winners have been drawn. So we'll draw the winner now, and then we will contact whoever has won the backpack. So draw the winner. Winners to draw, obviously 1. All right, so let's see. What the heck? All winners. What? Announce winners. Announce. Let's see. What? Where's it? Oh, right here. All right. So if your Instagram or Twitter is CrayGasMed, please hit us up. You just won the Knicks backpack from Jack Abrahams. We will connect you with them via email this week and make sure that you get it. So appreciate you guys. All right, Hector, you can start the next topic.
No, I was about to say that's not as exciting as a duck race. I just want to say congratulations on the person that won. But see, there was no thrill in seeing Phil just click shit on the screen. I didn't have any thrill. I wasn't excited. I didn't have Celso in the background making stupid noises or anything like that. Ron, before we let you go, brother, last thing I want to ask you, because you heard people talk about Tom Thibodeau and everything like that. What do you want this outlet to be? What do you think priorities should be? What do you want this team to focus on this offseason, getting ready for the next year?
Okay. And I'm sorry, I don't want to take up too much time. I know you guys got people waiting.
You good.
But,
You good. With Jake Boogie's backstage. We're going to bring up Jay Boogie. We're going to bring up Nice, and we're going to bring up Sunil. We're going to get ready to close things out. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, cool. I just want to say I want to thank these guys once again, man. They did a great job keeping us together this year. And I'm talking about the Morning Brew Sports guys. I'm not talking about the Knicks. That's besides the point. I'm talking about all you guys, man. Hector, Eddie, Phil, Jigga, and Jerry, and everything he contributed to the show. Appreciate all you guys for the content and the love you showed the Knicks community. We all love you guys. This was great. It's sad that this is your final show. I thought this was great, and you guys are leaving and you're never coming back. So that is it
Second
sucks.
to final.
No,
We may have
this is
something
the
on Friday.
final show ever for Morning Brew, because that's what Phil tweeted.
No,
Phil, that's what you tweeted, Phil. So
I didn't say ever. I didn't say
that's
ever.
what you tweeted. He said tomorrow is the final show, and I'm like, I've been wanting to get at you, Phil, because I'm like, why didn't he say this season? Like, you know how you had that joke back in the day? You say this, but after it, you say in bed. You know what I mean? Like everything. Yeah, I went to school in bed. Oh, I threw the garbage out in bed. You know what I mean?
Ron, that's like Caribbean parents when somebody call your house and they be like, "Hello, good night," and you just hang up the phone on them.
I saw Phil's tweet. I was like, this is going to be the greatest show. Everybody thinks it's the final show ever. Okay, I'm done. All right. So anyway, oh man, next season's going to be great, guys. It's going to be just as good as this one, or not better. But I what I did want to say is, I think next season, man, look, I already said I think the Knicks should maybe look to bringing in a stretch big of some sort. And I don't mean bring in another 6'8", 6'9" Obi Toppin type guy. No, bring in a 6'10", 7 foot, 7'1" type guy who can shoot a perimeter shot. It don't even have to be a three, but someone who can stretch the floor a little bit. Who's the guy that's a perfect example of that I've loved them to bring in? He doesn't have to be that good. The guy that started off with OKC, the big man.
You talking about Steven Adams?
No. The
Valanciunas? No,
it's not Nigerian. It's not Enes Kanter.
No, I think he's Nigerian. I can't remember his name. Jesus Christ. I think he's playing overseas now. Whatever. Or maybe he's with the big three. I don't know. I forgot his name. But back when OKC had Harden, Durant, Westbrook, they also had him.
Oh, you're talking about
to be.
Yeah. Him. Yeah. Serge Ibaka. That's it.
Serge Ibaka.
That's it. Yeah, so that is the type of guy the Knicks need. Somebody who can be physical, get some rebounds, and stretch the floor. Nice little jump shot, knock down some free throws. You don't have to have a three-point shooter. The guy just has to be able to shoot away from the basket. That's it. So I think that'll be big. I think most importantly, the Knicks have to try to bring back this same squad. I know some people when things don't work out, you want something better. Look, if Donovan Mitchell winds up a Knick, I'm not going to be mad. They've showed some offensive deficiency. It is what it is. But I think the Knicks should try to bring back this squad and put a couple of different pieces around, not have a bench full of Diakates and Daquan Jeffries and Jericho Sims that are not Tibbs type of players and aren't adding the value. Bring some guys who can actually play off the bench, that when we get into these issues with injuries, we got some help. The other thing too is, when I say bring a lot of these guys back, I don't think we want to let OG go. Even if he can't play 82 games, if he can only play 50 games, the results are incredible when he's out there. But bring a guy off the bench who's 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", who can play some defense, knock down a couple shots, but basically he is the OG insurance. So if OG gets hurt, you got somebody to kind of help off the bench that can pick up some of the slack. That's what I think they need to do.
I'm going to make a statement and then ask you a question. So I see someone said it, and I've been saying it since last year. Magic has Jonathan Isaac, and he would be someone who can score. I don't care about anyone's political or anything like that views. I'm not here for that. This isn't a political, platform. I'm here to watch them play basketball. He can score in every way, shape, and form, and is okay with not having to have a ton of minutes to be able to do it in. can also block shots amazingly, has always been, one of the best defensive players in the league every year that he's been healthy. But that's not my question. My question is, there's been talks that Rokas never came to the States because the Knicks weren't at a place where it was worth leaving what he had going over there, when it came to his family and his status over there. Could this be a time that we see a Rokas come over and honor his contract off the bench next season?
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely makes sense that could be the case. I mean, the guy's got untapped potential. He's decent defensively. He's got some offensive chops. I still think he's got a little bit more untapped potential that he hasn't shown yet. So it's one of those, does he come over here and instantly show that potential? Because he's been playing behind the journey, the elder statesman over there for quite some time, because that's their system. I just don't know. Sometimes I look at Rokas and I say, you know what I mean? He might be a little too timid for over here for what we need from him. But I do think that a decision has to be made. Either they're bringing him over or they're trading him. Because at this point, why the hell are we still holding on to that? That's an asset that we could use to potentially help the team in some form or fashion. The other thing, too, is just real quick about what you said with Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan Isaac is a great basketball player when he's out there. But you think OG Anunoby's injury prone. Like,
exactly.
I think what the Knicks need to do going forward is whoever they add to this team that's not already here needs to be somebody that can play every game. Because the Knicks got too many questions with regards to injuries. Guys are getting injured all the time, and they're fluky. But you know what? Are we saying that Julius Randle's injury prone? Because the dude keeps getting hurt now.
Yep.
They're all fluky injuries,
Last
but
2 seasons,
he's getting hurt. So
I'll take a fluky injury over a back injury any day.
Right. No. I mean, that's a whole nother thing. But it's just like the Knicks, there's some bad juju, no pun intended. Something's going on where now all of a sudden our guys are getting hurt. And I know when I say that, automatically fans point to Tibbs playing guys, but I've said it multiple times, and Hector already dispelled that earlier when he was talking. Look at the nature of the injuries. So don't blame it on playing extensive minutes. That's not how these guys are getting hurt.
But, in New York City, right? When you have baseball players who are like super conservative as fuck or whatever, I don't think it's about Jonathan Isaac's political views that I don't want him in New York City. I don't want him in New York City. I mean, I don't want him on the Knicks because he's played 5 years, 6 years in the NBA, and only 2 of those seasons he played more than 50 games.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him.
That's my only, because when Jonathan Isaac, his rookie year, his second year, I was going hard. I wanted Jonathan Isaac. I was a big proponent of getting Jonathan Isaac on the first show that I ever did. But seeing his career and how it has turned out because of these big injuries, they're not fluke injuries. Back surgery is not a fluke injury. Someone low bridging you and you falling on your shoulder, that's a fluke injury.
I simply wouldn't want him, because he makes like $20 million. And in order to get him, you're going to have to give up a piece. You're going to need to get somebody else. So it's going to be Bogey. Would have to go. It would be Bogey and picks, right? So you're giving up Bogey. Yeah. And then by giving him up, you're out on Spider. You're out on, guys like DeJounte Murray. You're out Mikal. No, Mikal you could do, because you could do Mitch and Deuce for Mikal.
Well, Jonathan Isaac, he's making
but
17
there's many
million,
players.
Right? But Jonathan Isaac is making 17 million. He's on an expiring contract in this season coming up.
I love that the morning after, and here we are. And it's not just us, guys. I mean, ESPN's already going for the Knicks for clicks. Look, they already put it out.
Hell no to Devin Booker.
Targets.
Hell no to Kevin Durant.
Bridges,
Hell no to Joel Embiid. Hell no to Paul George. My list is Mikal on top and then Donovan Mitchell. Shout out to the graphic designer. They're not better than Phil.
It's the day after, and we're here already. Ron, what's up, bro?
I'm opposite. I say Devin Booker or Mikal, but before everyone else.
I don't want Devin Booker. I don't want a player who is practicing in the offseason with other NBA players and who gets upset because he's getting doubled and triple teamed in an open gym run. I don't want to play on my team who gets upset at that. If Joakim Noah
said hell no to everybody.
If Joakim Noah is double teaming you and you're upset, Joakim Noah is double teaming you on an open run in the gym, I don't want you on my team. I'm sorry.
They're not trading Devin Booker regardless. The owner's not trading him. It would be KD that goes, not Devin Booker.
Yeah. Ron, appreciate you, Unc. Appreciate you and John this entire season. Appreciate you, everybody over there at Still Knick fans. Appreciate you shouting us out, giving us a space to go up there on Saturdays to join you. Thank you, Ron.
Hey man,
And shout out Jose. I'm sorry. Shout out Jose. They can't forget Jose. How fucking damn me I forgot Jose. Shout out to our guy Jose, one of the top producers out there in the game.
Jose's chilling with the wham. You know, he's all right, right? Listen, guys, once again, I want to say thank you to everything you guys have done. Listen, just like we appreciate what the Knicks have done this season, we have to. You just can't forget what they've done. Can't forget what you guys have done for these spaces as far as our Knicks community, but not even just Knicks community, what you've brought to YouTube with all the different content you guys have invested in. You guys are phenomenal. I'm happy to call you guys my friends, my brothers. Just keep doing what you do. Next year is going to be just as good, if not greater. Let's go Knicks, baby. We here. Listen, tonight, if you guys are free, Still Knick fans weekly at 9 p.m. It is what it is. We're going to talk about it. Let's go, baby.
Sir.
Let's go, baby.
Guys, I know we got a couple more people backstage, but just hang tight. I see we got Nice. We'll close out with Jay Boogie, and we got who else back there?
Sunil. Yeah.
Sudi. I want to take a quick second though, real quick. So guys, just give us a quick second backstage. We'll bring you up. But I want to give a shout out to all of our guests this season. Like the way they blessed us. Like, guys, we come into the season like, man, it'd be so cool if we can get. Imagine if we can get. And we put this whole list together, and man, we had some crazy guests this year, guys. I mean, we had John Starks, we had Begley, we had Puma. Who else? I mean, we had all.
Monica McNutt was my favorite guest all year that we had. The constant love that we get from our friend Dexter Henry this entire season, having us on SNY to talk Yankees, to talk Knicks. Brandon London as well. Shout out to Chris Childs. I apologize for cursing. I'm so sorry about cursing on stream.
Real quick, everybody in the chat, you guys have been rocking with us. I'd love to know, you guys in the chat, what was your favorite one this season while we're all hanging out still? We got 250 rocking with us, but what was your favorite? And the biggest
shout out to our other co-host, Jerry Ferrara.
Shout out to Jerry. Shout out
the Actors Guild strike, like no longer being around, and him having commitments, but he rocked with us for quite a while. And that was a blessing. He believed in us. So shout out to our guy Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry, we just want to publicly say thank you, right? For blessing us and loving what we're doing enough to join us and put his name on that with us. So amazing season. Monica, hands down, right? CT. And she came out to the watch party. Like, guys, the season as a whole for us was just crazy. And it's because of you guys in the chat as well. If you guys don't rock with us every day, we're just four idiots talking amongst ourselves. So just want to thank everybody for that. Sky Zoo.
Shout out to Sky Zoo.
He's become like a normal on the network, so it's hard to like think of him as a guest. He was on, the Knicks nightcap as well. So shout out to Sky Zoo.
I want to say shout out
the rapper, the kid. I forgot his name.
Lil D.
Yeah, Lil D. There we go.
Yeah, Eddie.
Pito.
Of course, Eddie remembers the Italian rapper that was on the show.
Shout out to the Whites.
Shout out to Eddie's catchphrase that has caught on like fire in the entire chat this season. But also, I want to take a second. Shout out to the last guest we had, Keith McPherson. He's been awesome, man. He's been showing us so much love. I was at a Willie Randolph event yesterday that Keith McPherson emceed.
Yep, he hit the mute.
He got muted.
He was about to cook.
Yeah, exactly.
While he fixes his microphone. The other thing I'll say is, people in the chat, you guys are used to us because of our Knicks stuff. But understand, like, we built this channel to really fix our fandom any time of the day. So if you're a Yankees fan or a Mets fan, we got you. You're a Rangers fan. If you haven't been watching the Rangers Ice Brew, what's wrong with you? We got you. Those boys are killing it. We've got Mets, Yankees, Jets. We got Giants coming soon. We got the pop-off on Friday. I mean, we got Liberty tomorrow. We've got just so much content, guys, and we appreciate you guys rocking with us. But just know, This same style that we do on the Knicks Morning Brew is the style we carry over on every one of our shows. If you got takes you want to talk and represent your team, just rock with us, guys. We're going to keep building this thing up and get ready for next season with more dope stuff. Alawai said his favorite guest is Corey Lee.
Shout out Alawai. Shout out So Nasty. Shout out to all of the new subscribers that found us. Like I was saying, Keith McPherson yesterday at that event with Willie Randolph showed us so much love. He literally, when I had an interview with him, he literally told me, like, listen, thank you. He was like, I had a young lady come up to me who said that she knew me or she knows of me because of Morning Brew. And that means a lot. You know, Keith McPherson, he is already established at WFAN. He was filling in for Susan Waldman calling the Yankee game this weekend. And as a fan, you know, started in the bleachers and now in the booth. And it's the same thing with you guys in this chat. I started off as somebody in the chat for Uncle Freezy, jumping on open panels. So to go from somebody who was in the chat to now I have a show that I can say that I'm a part of, a network that I can say that I'm a part of. And I appreciate all of you guys. Eddie, I appreciate you, you lunatic. You're a psychopath, but I really appreciate you, bro.
I can say the
Phil,
same
of
thing.
course. Phil, of course, my brother, I appreciate you, So go ahead, Eddie. You can curse me out, and then we'll bring up Sunil.
I
Nice,
can
Jay
say
Boogie.
the
We'll
same
wrap it
thing.
up.
Listen, you guys put your stock in me, my crazy ass of cursing in spaces, being a total fucking lunatic. And you guys brought me over here. We did Smitty and Eddie, and we did the Mets Brew. Now I'm here doing Knicks Morning Brew. Yo, shout out to you guys. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate you guys do all my up and downs, my fucking crazy moments that I have.
His lack of technology.
Oh, yeah, I'm asking you at like 3 in the afternoon. Yo, I can't get the bottom line up. Help me out. What do I do? Appreciate you guys, all you guys. Phil took me to a fucking game courtside. I never been to a game courtside. I'm not a rich white. You know, so I actually felt like a rich white that day when Phil took
Listen, I love that you brought that up because that was the one time I was like, yo, I hate my brother. Like, I'm your brother. And he took Eddie to the damn game. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Also, to the people that a lot of you folks in the chat, you don't know that behind the scenes support us. Shout out to Jeff. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Evan. Shout out to my girlfriend, Alex. Shout out to Krista. Shout out to Alex's mom. Shout out to Celso and Phil's mom. There's a lot of people behind the scene that supports us and help us do this. Shout out to my guy, Aunt Rivera, who is a part of the Morning Brew family, who joined us.
On Dios now, too.
On Dios, joining us as well. Ebony. So one thing about us, you guys know, crazy ass Eddie, Blood of the Panther, top moderator of all the moderators. It just so people know, this channel, it would have been so easy for myself, for Celso, and for Phil just to center us and just to have everything revolve around us. That's not how we operate, right? Literally, my co-host for the Yanks Morning Brew are two people that was in my chat just watching as a fan, and I brought them up. And now, shout out to my guy TC. Shout out to Grace, who's now my co-host for the Yankee show. Like. A lot of people don't know. So appreciate this community we've been able to build. Let's bring up these other people before we get too sobby.
Juan, it's true. We are actual brothers, bro. We're both golden Portos. All right. We had no choice but to admit it when we started a show together. All right. Let's see. Nice. You back there, bro? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready.
Let me get a thumbs up. You ready to go?
And
that thumbs up. That shit shot into the screen.
Damn it. The sexiest beard in all the game. What up, Nice?
How's everything, guys? Hey, salute to everybody. Salute to everybody in the panel on the chat, bro.
Just to let people know, Nice is cosplaying a mailman. He actually is not a mailman. So nobody call his job and get him in trouble. It's Halloween in Nice's house all year round. Go ahead, bro.
Nah, it's good. It's good. Hey, guys. Last night, man. I know that at the beginning, I started even saying that. Is a success? Is a season success if we literally get Eastern Conference? But for what I saw last night, man, we gotta feel blessed of having the team that we have. You cannot count them out, bro. It's like watching. I'm gonna make a correlation. This team reminded me of Gladiators, the movie Gladiators. At the end, when he got stabbed and now he needed to fight. That's literally the team, bro. It's not that they didn't want it to fight, bro. It got to the point that even Coach Tib, he's looking behind him and it's like,
oh shoot, I don't have nobody else to go.
Nobody.
That's it. And it's like it's a pure blessing where we saw that. I'm pretty sure that they already told OG you cannot play, and he still had the audacity of actually trying. You cannot take that away from him, man. Like we gotta feel blessed. At the end of the day, of course, we wanted to see Eastern Conference, but we cannot predict or think about, well, we wanted to see Eastern Conference. We didn't have Julius Randle. We didn't have Mitchell Robinson. We didn't have OG. So it's very unfair to look at this team with the roster that they had, making it close to the Eastern Conference. Hey, believe me or not, even though I won an Eastern Conference, Game 7 is more than enough. With the team that we had is more than enough. I really salute them because just think about it. We could have been, it could have been a blowout. It could have been a gentleman's sweep. Regardless, we gave it our team gave it their all. So just for that, hey, blessing to that team. I wish that they keep everybody. I wish that we keep on having this podcast to be spitting on next year, and I'm feeling like another movie. I'm feeling like Bad News Bear at the end. Like we made it in second place. Something like now it's like, hey, take it easy.
I
we'll see
love
you next season.
I love that you said that. Nice. We appreciate you. Get back to work, bro. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one, guys, and salute to everybody.
Love you guys. Be safe, Nice. Appreciate you. Love
Appreciate
you too, bro.
Nice. Before we bring the
Nice
next
another
person,
one like Soulfinger. Yeah.
I love that. Shout out real quick.
Go ahead, Phil.
I want to give a shout out to CT Pittman. This is someone that I want to set aside. Some of these watch party trips, some of these spring training events, stuff like that, that does not happen without CT Pittman. This is a guy that has been so loyal to us, has been, so supportive of us. Even when, he would do things and he would win, he'd be like, no, give it to someone else, like gift it to somebody. I just wanted to be part of it and believe in you guys. So without CT Pittman, a lot of this stuff does not happen. So thank you so much. I wanted to make sure you got your own, section of thanks because you salute us. You come into the chat, you're participating, you're moderating, but you're also buying like 10 coffees an episode when you don't need to be doing that. And after we thank you for a super chat, you then surprise us 5 minutes later with another super chat. So thank you so much, CT Pittman. We appreciate you.
That is our guy, and I got to rock with him at the gathering that we did here in North Carolina. It was really good.
And a lot of the stuff he does behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know, for us, looking out for us, trying to get us certain things. CT Pittman, love you, appreciate you, and like Phil said, you needed your own section for your things.
Before we bring the next one up, because I know we want to get out of here in a minute. I loved what Nice said, because think about it, guys, bringing it back to the game last night. Even when we brought it within 6, right, Eddie? That was what, third quarter?
6, third quarter.
Without our team, right? And to be able to see that we were still fighting, and I was with you, Eddie. We texted about it where even when we got close, it still felt like it was out of reach. Like it was still like a big battle. But the point is, even with our depleted team, to even have that chance to fight the way we did, granted, the last 5 minutes, I'd like to forget. But man, I love what you had to say on that because I agree with everything. Go ahead. I know we got 2 more backstage and we'll wrap up. Go ahead.
I just want to say this because I know we're in the works of like possibly doing something on Friday or whatever like that. I want to make it fun. I want to make it fun this Friday. So I'm going to start brainstorming. Something we did for the past 2 days on Twitter Spaces. We started giving out awards, right, to people that joined the Twitter Spaces. So I think let's work on that for Friday. So let's have some awards for the people in our chat. Let's nominate CT Pittman for being the #1 supporter for the Knicks Morning Brew this season. Let's nominate Ally Wise for being the person that has the best one-liners in the chat. Let's nominate Corey Lee for being the top villain in the chat, going back and forth with Phil and everybody else. Let's nominate Knicks 100. Even though he goes back and forth with people, he still says sir in the middle of his comment. Let's nominate CP the artist for being the dope and one of the realest artists that are out there in the Knicks space. Let's nominate some of our folks that are in the chat. So for our next show, we could all be participating in it. I don't know. Maybe that's just something I just spat off the top of my head.
It sounds like it, bro. You gave out awards. I was waiting for the
how about Jacob Petruzzi and Double A? Both of them get nominated for the first person to comment on the chat in the video.
All right, so screw it. You know us, man. The stupider, the better. All right, so you guys want to do a special Friday? Award ceremony.
Award
All right,
ceremony.
good.
We do the award ceremony, CT, whether you like it or not, baby. For our community, we're gonna do an
Let's
award
bring
show for our
Sue
community.
Neal is in the building. All right, Sue Neal,
I don't
talk
want
to
to talk
us.
to him. It's fucking Mavericks run. Sunil, go fuck yourself. Honestly, your dad jokes, my guy. No, I'm joking.
Jeez, that was horrible.
I'm telling you, man, the Knicks are like the Yankees. Man, the Knicks are like, they're basically a team coached by, you could say, Aaron Boone wearing a bunch of counterfeit Met jerseys. I mean, it's a curse every year. 52 years now and counting. It's getting mind-boggling right now.
Oh man.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Sunil.
Go ahead. No, I'm done.
No, I was just gonna ask you, Sunil, when it comes to the season, I know like you're an outside basketball fan because you're a Mavericks friend, but when you look at the Knicks, give us your honest grade of the team.
It's going to be hard to say B to a B minus, and it's largely because of Tibbs, minutes management. Everybody in the Knicks fan base who's basically putting the injuries on Tibbs. Tibbs is not the one tearing their hamstrings and doing all sorts of this shit. Come on. He can only do what he can do with the resources he has to manage the players' minutes. Point blank, period.
Facts.
I think Hector's muted.
I am so happy I did not drive out to Indiana with Ally Wise and my friend Sunil, because me and Sunil, we was planning on driving from up here and going down and meeting up with Ally Wise and going to Indiana. Yeah, I'm glad we ain't do that.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say to Sunil, I'm glad that's your take, that you're not blaming it on Tibbs, because your team is the next two up. After Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson, it's Luka, Kyrie, and Jokic as most minutes played. You play the players that are going to help you win, and what you got. So I do want to give a shout out to Sunil. He's been rocking with us as a Mavericks fan early in the season. I remember a clip that I cut of me and Hector talking about that dumpster fire that was Dallas, and how, they meshed two players that made no sense to mesh because it was a dumpster fire, but they figured it out. And we didn't think that the slow-paced offense of Luka with the fast-paced of Kyrie was going to work. And here they are going to the Western Conference Finals. So salute.
Well, let's not forget the augmenting of PJ Washington Jr. and Daniel Gafford at the trade deadline. And anybody who's looking to count out the Mavs in the Western Conference Finals, just know this hot take. All 4 games between the Mavs and the T-Wolves were played before the deadline. That was a different look team altogether that the Wolves took 3 out of 4 from.
Timberwolves Gafford. Smoke them, Sunil. I got news for you. They're going to smoke them.
You think so?
No. Yeah, I don't think Dallas got a chance. I think the Timberwolves are the best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
I said it before.
I agree.
Playoffs.
I agree.
Anthony
Edwards is next up. Anthony Edwards is out there trying to prove that he should be the face of the NBA.
This is a good segue, because for what Al Citron said, I think the Mavs basically put Ant-Man out of his misery, and it's probably going to be a reunion either way for the Mavs. Whether you had the Knicks still alive, it would have been Brunson against Dallas. With the Knicks, that was basically the Knicks. Boston, it's KP versus Dallas. And with Indy, it's Rick Carlisle versus Dallas. So either of those things would have been a reunion. There you go. Eric Gonzalez got it right. That's exactly my take. Mavs basically in 7. I don't see this going any less than 6 or 7. Timberwolves, Minneapolis ain't got championships since the Lakers left. I'll leave it right there. Yeah.
So now,
we'll see what happens. Either way, they earned their spot. Congrats to you and your Mavs, and we will see you next season, my guy.
I want to see what Phil. I want to see what Phil got to say before we part off. What's his take for the prediction on this Western Conference Finals?
Well, hold on. We'll get to his predictions just because we got Jay Boogie and we got to end the show. I'm pretty sure we're over 1 o'clock. So now,
I'll make it quick for Sunil. I think it's going to be a battle. But right now, the Timberwolves are a very scary team. Luka and Kyrie have to be on it completely to compete against them. Guys, before we bring in Jay Boogie, it's off season. It's crazy. Shams just released an interview talking about how teams are already, showing interest in what they would have to do to get Julius Randle, and him talking about how this is not something that would be easily ignored, because if the Knicks are serious about wanting to still make a big strike, moving on the Randle contract is their best bet to get a star to partner with Jalen Brunson. Just letting you guys know, it's already started. Let's bring up Jay Boogie.
While you're bringing up Jay Boogie, I'm gonna make it very clear. Last episode of the season, I am not for trading Julius Randle. I want to see this team with a healthy Julius Randle and a healthy squad with OG and all of us. So I'm making sure that we end the last episode. I'm making it clear. Go ahead.
We got Mikal Bridges. I just want to say, when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, Sunil, just know the city of Dallas is disgusting. You guys killed John F. Kennedy. What's crazy is that you guys killed Kennedy, but you guys have like a memorial for like George W. Bush. That's fucking weird as fuck. I just want to say that. I want to bring up Jay Boogie right now. Jay Boogie, let me get a thumbs up. Go ahead, Jay Boogie.
We can't take this man anywhere, Jay.
Hey, yo, Hector, man. Hey, you the illest, man. You the illest, man.
They killed Kennedy. That's all I'm saying.
God bless you, man. Shout out to everybody, man, on this beautiful day of life, man. Hope everybody's in the greatest form of health. Man, where can I start? I don't even drink. I went to the bar, right? After it was over, I don't even drink. I'm sitting at the bar. You know what I told the lady? I said, yo, let me get a bottle of grape. She said, grapes? I said, no, grape. G-R-E-A-T. Let me get a bottle of grape. She said, we don't have that here. I said, let me get a bottle of season then. She said, my season for the food? No, season. We don't have that. You know what I told her? You can't be a fucking Knicks fan then. This is what we just had. A great damn season. A great season is what we just had.
On ice.
Facts.
Everybody should be applauding, appreciating, celebrating every form of this organization, this basketball team that you possibly can. It was a wonderful season all the way around the board, all the great stories, all the even I appreciate the doubters, the haters. I appreciate them because y'all kept motivating the team. And when you kept motivating the team, it kept motivating our conversations and everything. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care what nobody says to this day, right here. We had the best player in the Eastern Conference. The best player, period. Point blank, period. I see nobody do what this guy has done with less than what this guy has done. And he got robbed for so much. You can't tell me Maxey is a better, most improved player than him. Because I remember when we was at the 6th seed and they was up there the 2 seed and they lost Embiid. And you know what I'm saying? We lost 3 of our starters and we passed them. So how can you make him better, a more improved player than him? We passed him and went all the way up to the 2 seed. But, that's never here nor there. But all the great stories, the Mitch story, with his coach situation with that, coming over here and, make sure he had a place to live. And it's just so beautiful of a season that we had, you know what I'm saying? And you hated to see it come to an end, but it didn't come to an end. It came to a beginning. And these my 4 guys right here, they talking about the end of the season. No, it's the beginning of the season because I don't do the off season. I keep promoting and telling everybody it's not the off season. It's the on season because what's more important is what the officers be doing, the work they be doing. When you're dealing with millions and millions and billions of dollars and got to make the biggest decision, whether it's right or wrong, and how's it going to manage with the team? Is it going to help the team? Is it going to not help the team? How the fans going to feel? And it's just so much you got to do in the on season, far as, figuring this out. You already hear Jiggaman talking about, Sam's talking about so many people want Julius, so many people want this. We got trade picks. We got a whole lot of things going on when it comes to this organization and this fan base. But more importantly, before you lay down that semi-block, Before you get a foundation, the first thing you lay down to build anything is that mortar. It's that mortar. The mortar is laid down and it's rock solid. You can't put semi-blocks on until you get the mortar. And then when you put the semi-block down, you put more mortar. And then you put the bricks. And guess what you do? You build. And when you build, guess what? You get a New York Knicks house. This is what we got right here. All across the board, all across the land, all across the city, all across the media, all across the podcasts, all across the Twitter spaces, all across the music, everything. Ain't nobody doing it more better than the New York Knicks. I don't care who you are. We just bring so much to the table, you know what I'm saying, as a franchise. And a lot of people don't like how we bring it to the franchise because they ain't never seen so many people that get through so many things and so many downfalls and still make it and be able to celebrate when we are downfall. What do you think we were going to act like when we got up and had a season like this, man? So shout out to everybody, man, for the season that we had. Go and celebrate yourself, man. Take a break, you know what I'm saying? Enjoy yourself. Take a trip. Take a family. You all deserve that. You deserve that. And the Knicks players, y'all deserve to fall back, get you some rest, get you some energy. First thing first, I need health to come back. When health come back, then we can deal with everything else, you know, far as it can follow in suit, you know. But let me get healthy first, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody know with that health is a whole different story. It's a whole different lineup. It's a whole different position, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different situation going on if we got that health in the building. But we can't blame none of that on what happened in the past of this season. You know why? Because them guys never gave up. You hear what Brunson? It don't matter. It don't matter. Why it don't matter? Because we going all out. Everybody went all out. And you even see, it was so sad to see OG limping up the court, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, damn, man, damn, oh, man. Nobody had to be us like this, man. We deserve to be there healthy. But just to see him continue on fighting and fighting, you know what I'm saying? And Tom was like, nah, come on, man. We can't have you going doing that.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you, man. But we got a brighter future. Come on, sit down. We appreciate that. That's that love not to give up, not to quit. That's that effort, man. That a lot of people can't go to. When they talk about levels of stuff in life, levels and stuff in basketball, it's only certain people that can reach certain levels, man. But when you reach to a certain level where it's, I'm never going to give up, man. Jill Valvano said, don't you never give up. Don't you ever give up. Don't you ever give up. And if you don't appreciate what this season was, you're not a real fucking Knicks fan.
Preach, Jay Boogie.
God bless everybody, man.
Jay Boogie, we love you. We know your passion. We know your love for this team. We know the love you have for this channel and everything you've done for us. The music that you put out all season long.
Yeah.
I believe we have another one to end the show today that we're going to premiere as well. But Boogie, I'm right there with you. If you hating on the Knicks after this season, if you went to the bar, you ordered that great season drink and they didn't have it served, you ain't a Knicks fan and you at the wrong freaking bar. Jay Boogie, the closer, dropping bars. Jay, I love you.
Hey, love you.
Last thing I'll say about Jay Boogie, to those that are watching that don't understand why you're having the emotions that you have, they haven't been a Knicks fan long enough to understand. So those of us who have, we thank you. We appreciate you. We love your heart. Like Jigga said, we appreciate the commitment that you've had to us, the channel, the community, this team. Getting to rock on that symphony with you was a blessing. Not because, you know, anything to do with music, but because you're family to me, you know. So we appreciate you. We love you, bro. The joy comes after the morning. You know, that's something I hold on to. There's a bright, shiny day after the rain. So I look forward to this offseason when the business will be business. And then we will see the fruits of our labor next season. Because these guys, they fought through everything, which means they're just going to come back even harder as a unit next year to fight even more. And you, myself, Hector, Eddie, and Jigga will be able to sit and enjoy what we saw this year come to fruition even more so next year. So I appreciate you, my guy, and we will continue to link on the off season. We love you, bro.
And thank you, guys. And thank you. And thank you. And thank you. And thank you for everything that y'all do and provide. And Jiggaman, you already know, you know, we in Carolina together. Don't ask me until it's time to do it. because I'm going to support you in everything. All that, you know what I'm saying? When you're ready to do something, I'm there. That's the love and support. We're going to build up this, you know what I'm saying, this thing in North Carolina even more come next season. And shout out to CT Pittman. If y'all could have just seen us three just sitting down there after everybody was gone for an hour and a half, just sitting at that table on some business-minded, you know what I'm saying, conversation, you know what I'm saying, people trying to put their thoughts and their ideas for the future of the North Carolina people to have somewhere else to come and celebrate this team. That was amazing, man. Shout out to y'all guys, man. Yo, Eddie, appreciate you to the fullest. Yo, Phil, appreciate you, man. Everything you do. And if anybody need any type videos, you know, wedding things done, that's the man you call. If you unsure about any ideas of what you want to do and you need, you know what I'm saying, somebody to bring you a different direction that you might didn't think of, that's Jiggaman. And if you need somebody to conduct that thing, I said be the conductor of that train, the driver, you know what I'm saying, the one when he drives and he get to the end of this stop of the train and then he'll walk through all the train cars and drive it back the other way because he's conducting both ways. It's that brother right there, Hector, man. I love y'all. I love everybody.
Appreciate you.
Everybody stay orange and blue. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital G's.
Shout out to you. Eric Gonzalez, Brooklyn Buddha, CT Pittman, Julian Blum with the 1999 super chat. Keep us together. Just add dessert. Let's go Knicks.
Real quick, I also want to say, Rita, I understand. Rita hasn't let the emotions go. All right. I won't even show it on the screen because it hurts my heart, Rita. But Rita, we're here for you.
Appreciate you.
Guys, that's it. Hey, another Knicks Morning Brew season in the books, man. That was a blast. So excited, man. Really had a great time. Eddie, I love you being a part of this core four for this company, man, and helping us out this season. And
big fact.
This chat, you guys are crazy. And like I said, we understand you guys all come together on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays because of our Knicks. But hey, if you're a Yankees fan, tune in. Start next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. We're going to have your Yankees every morning. You know what I mean? Rangers fans, all you guys, keep hanging out with us. Us four are always live at some point. One of us is live. So thank you guys so much. Heck, I love you. Phil, I love you. Eddie, I love you. And on that note, let's go Knicks. Wait. Don't we have a track? Where's the track?
Oh, we got a track. I
almost left prematurely.
I got it right here. Hold on.
Let's play the J
Boogie overlay. And we will, matter of fact, let's do it like that. And then we're going to play the J Boogie track called the Nick of All Time, the Coat. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Appreciate you all.
Let me touch your soul. It's the coat, baby. I'm the coat.
Madison Square Garden, we got garden dreams. I'm the coat that means Knicks over all teams. A lot of teams behind the wheel this year, they getting slumped. Miss Maryland already told me put them in the trunk. The city look like a movie called It Can't Touch Us. Don't you wish you had a Tony loading up the buses? The Road Squad, the Travel Squad, the Knicks Squad. That floor seat with Fat Joe, that's a terror squad. The Nick Jers with the Tim boots, the headband, tell them that the dude's loose. This goes out to all the real loyal Nick fans. The pain felt before JR was the sixth man. The LJ go-to part, the headband. The game winner, the smoothest, Allen Houston. They say I give a sermon like a church man. I need my money like James, let my dough land. The 4-7 broke Bernard means I'm on fire. The same day, Candace announced she retired.
Still hate.
My flow just stay tighter. I'm Fred Katz on beats, the Knicks staff writer. On game nights, New York City with the bright lights. My energy, Josh Hart, I got the mic and ice. It's only right that I give thanks. When it come to these Knick bars, I'm Lloyd Banks. I give a take on your partners for the uplift. And tell Kenny don't be switching out the handkerchiefs. Over here, we really got them garden dreams. I'm the coat that means Knicks over all teams. Knicks over all teams. I said Knicks over all teams. Recognize I'm the coat for the